It is one of the most prestigious hill climbs in the world, and this year we add even more spice. International multiple world champion Petter Solberg and his brother Henning are here, as well as former Formula One driver knysna. The tension is palpable. The anticipation is electrifying. Launch, focus, commitment, courage, adrenaline. Who can push it to the full limit? Time is all that matters. Who will be the king of the hill? This is the SIMOLA Hill Climb in knysna, South Africa.
And welcome back to SIMOLA 23. The electrons are flowing the way the electrons should flow. The sun is absolutely belting it down, and qualifying has just started. We've got 3 qualifying runs today, and more practice and qualifying runs tomorrow. Idea with qualifying gets you into the class finals and also into the top 10 shootout. So after qualifying, you've got 2 separate events, the class finals and then the top 10 shootout, completely independent. We've seen a lot of action during the morning today, and temperatures have changed. The times have started to tumble, and it's been very, very close on the modified saloon car front between Petter Solberg, who's been the entertainer of note, Reggie Roots, and Franco Scribanti. Just before lunch, Franco Scribanti had a slight issue. They're busy repairing the car at the moment. Reggie Roots didn't run. Solberg, he got a little bit sideways, so the times were a little bit slower. And we're into the road cars at the moment, and if we just take a walk down the pits, we can start seeing some of the absolutely magic. James Temple is leading his class at the moment in the Mustang convertible. They've got superchargers and all sorts of things in them to make lots and lots of horsepowers. In this class, the idea is that the cars are standard, and even down to the standard tires, with no modifications, and they policed pretty blooming carefully. So just to make sure that it's a level playing field for everybody. And the cars certainly are absolutely magic. We've got a couple of points. You wonder why you're watching me talking about cars while there are cars up the track. The answer is simple. There's a bit of synchronizing that's going on and stuff happening, and we will see the cars. You won't miss Petter Solberg, you won't miss Mika Salo, and you won't miss some of the super fast, the wild, the wicked, and the fast cars that are absolutely fantastic. So very, very shortly, they're getting ready. These things, these little Suzuki Swift Sports, are quite a revelation. Check here, tires marked, so that we know that what they're doing exactly with the tires. So the Suzuki have got 2 of the cars they've invited. That's Sudhir Matai, Banzai in that one. They're having a lot of fun, and journos are going. Right, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go and have a look at cars going up the hill, starting with this M2, because cars speak better than people.
He's in our helicopter right now. It is qualifying 1 for the SIMOLA Hill Climb. There we go, we've got our live timing back. We have had a very interesting morning, notwithstanding the electricity problems, which are rather common in South Africa, unfortunately. But man, Petter Solberg went out this morning on his first run. He electrified the crowds, and we have a huge crowd here in knysna at the SIMOLA Hill Climb. And from there, everybody just upped their game. The times have been astonishing so far from what we have seen. They're going to do 3 qualifying runs this afternoon. as Colin Hasty mentioned. And thereafterwards, tomorrow there'll be a warm-up. They'll have another qualifying run. They'll have 3 more qualifying runs, or 2 more qualifying runs tomorrow. And then, of course, we go into the class finals, the road and supercar top 10 shootout, the single-seater sports car top 10 shootout, the modified saloon top 10 shootout. It is electrifying. It's just amazing. And looking at our times, we've got Garth McIntosh, who's improved his time yet again. Franco Di Matteo, who's been up and down the pit lane most of the morning. Franco, great to have you back in the studio. You've got to be honest, highlight of the day so far has got to be Petter Solberg.
100%. I mean, for a man that's never been up the hill, to put it on in the first practice to be the fastest, I mean, that's incredible. What a man.
It was so special, and also the interview that we caught up with him a little bit earlier as well. Just such a, you know, you can see he's here, number one, to win, but he's here to entertain. And he very modestly said, well, you know, it would be nice if I could get on the podium in my class.
What a joke.
I think
that's the man he is. I mean, loyal, humble, and yeah, I mean, he's so much quicker than anybody else in his class. But
and he's Petter Solberg. That's who he is. There's a little bit of niggle down at the Mercedes garage because Clint Weston is a lot faster than Mika Sala, and Mika Sala also said, you know what, I've only, you know, I don't know this kind of racing, but you know, I'm gonna do my best. But maybe he'll pull something out the bag.
I think he will. I think a few more times up the hill, and you'll get to know it better. I think he will be there. I think he'll be closer, but you must remember, Clint is he spends all this time in that car, and yeah, he's one of the best in a Mercedes.
Yeah, here is Pit Potgieter in the Giulia Quadrifoglio 2.9 V6 turbocharged going up the hill. These times now all count towards the class final, which will be tomorrow. So your best time in the 5 qualifying runs, Franco, those are the ones that are going to count.
Yeah, and I think these guys will now push it to the limits, because I think what I would do is actually push the first round as hard as I can, and then if you make it and you see the time is faster than you've ever been, then you'll just ease off on the next 2 runs. But if you don't, you're going to have to push it to the limits, all 3 qualifying sections.
Now, we heard from Colin in the pit saying that there seemed to be... Oh, that's a huge off! That is a big mistake. Right at the end of the lap there for Pit Potgieter. I hope it's okay. We haven't got the end there, but wow, that's a moment.
Yeah, what happens at the end, at the finish line, your car gets actually airborne because it's like a rise and the air gets underneath it. And it's happened to me a few times where your steering gets very light, and I think that's what happened to Potgieter there. I think he just lost it. Shame.
Yeah, okay.
I hope he's okay.
Well, that's the main thing. Hope he's okay. Hope the car's okay. It seemed as though he was scrubbing off quite a lot of speed going sideways. Marshals are running off there from the bottom of the hill and others coming from the top of the hill. That'll definitely put us in a safety car situation before this magnificent M2 goes up the hill. And wonderful that we've got that BMW on screen. Just to let everybody know, this is a wonderful, a big event for BMW, and a big year for BMW. It is their 50th year in South Africa, their Jubilee celebration, Franco, and also one of the first, if not the first, manufacturing plant outside of Germany that was started in South Africa many years ago. So a very special occasion for BMW, as we see that magnificent new. That is a very much sport variety of that car.
I mean, all the spoilers, all the fancy rims, the air boot spoiler, I mean, it really makes that car look awesome.
Yeah, very good. Okay, it seems as though everything's okay, so well, that's great news for the Alpha driver, Pit Potgieter, and also hopefully his car. At the runoff area at the top, it's a little bit open.
it doesn't give you too much run off, but I think he was before the time, so hopefully there was enough space for him to stop up there.
All right, they have stopped proceedings, that BMW going back. Let's just cross over to Colin. Maybe he's got some new news for us.
Jeff, the famous driver who's actually organising senior, part of the organising committee for the event. But his son, Jeff Goddard Jr., who's now about 6'9" tall, is driving an absolutely legendary car. You'll see the name Tony Viana on it, and it is a proper Stanek Group N car, the original car that Tony Viana drove. And in fact, Jeff Goddard Sr. drove with Tony in one of the 9 hours. This young man, who is now working for BMW in America in the IT area, was about a little boy, and he used to play in this car in the backyard of their house. Jeff, it is so cool to see you here, and what a lovely story. You reunited with the car that you played with as a young man.
Yeah, and it's an absolute privilege. I mean, thanks to BMW for getting me out here. I mean, for me, the emotions of the weekend, just being here, being in this car, I mean, I remember it so clearly, as clear as day, getting home from school, jumping in the car, pretending to drive it, and now to be here, going up the hill, it's pretty special.
Amazing how, after so many years, that little boy pretending is now a young man really doing.
Thank you. I'm not that young anymore, but very much so. Just really having fun out here today. I'm privileged enough to be able to do some racing in the States, and to get out here and just be a part of this event. This event is so unique. I still feel the sense of camaraderie, the sense of togetherness, and what motorsport used to be like when I was a kid. You know, running around at Kalami and the Boma. It's just fantastic.
Now, Jeff, you, part of your duties in North America revolve around you work for BMW, but there are a number of cars that are competing here today that are built in the Americas.
Exactly. I mean, what is pretty special for me is that I spent 3 years helping with the IT backbone infrastructure set up in Plant San Luis in Mexico, who now produces the M2. So to see that car, Rob Gearing's just absolutely wheeling it up the hill here. And then currently, I'm currently based in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And to see the XM, I mean, an absolute beast of a vehicle, an SUV running up the hill, running quicker than this race car. It's just an absolute sight to see. And there's a certain emotion behind that. And I have many colleagues and family and friends that are back in the US, and they're at least along for the journey here today, which is great.
But you're also involved in a number of other initiatives, one with kids with various learning disabilities and social things. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think it's absolutely wonderful how you bring motorsport in to help kids.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I have the privilege, when we moved to the US, my eldest daughter, Sienna, she was diagnosed, or at least tested for dyslexia. We actually call it her superpower. And we decided to get her enrolled in a private school that focused on kids with learning disabilities or learning challenges, being dyslexia. And she went from not being able to read the start of the year to the end of the year just being an absolute ace. She now reads a book a week. And part of that program, part of that school, a gentleman that owns the school by the name of Dana Blackhurst, absolute salt of the earth, amazing human being. He's also a race car enthusiast, a petrol head, we would call it here. And I just said to him, look, whatever you're doing, I want to be involved in. And what he managed to do is to get kids to do more reading, more writing, do more math, and get them more motivated. He came up with a program called the ACE program. Essentially, it's automotive basics, so the history of automotive all the way to basic mechanical workmanship. And this elective subject essentially allows kids to, therefore, if they're motivated to read and write, they do more math. And part of that, or the combination of that whole program, is that they've got a race team. So we, luckily, thankfully for me, they have a BMW M2 race car. And I originally started as pit crew, and now I have the privilege of driving the car. And the program itself essentially gets these kids out to the track working on if they have social challenges in a social environment, if they have any of these challenges that we work with them, and they're a part of the program, whether it's fueling or just being a flagger during our pit stops. It's a really special thing. And our last event was actually in Coda in Austin, Texas, end of last year. We had 3 girls down there with us, 3 students, and they had an absolute blast. It was really special.
Awesome. Jeff, thank you very much for chatting to us. Enjoy being reunited with your dad's car, Tony Vienna's car, the legendary 325 IS. Cheers. Jeff Goddard. Right, so let's go and talk to one of the BMW guys. And these brakes are never good for one's concentration, are they?
No, they're not. And I've been yawning away, so, you know.
But you've got all sorts of electronics on the dashboard. You've got music, air conditioner. How's the car going, by the way?
It's going very well. Incredibly fast off the line. I mean, it pulls like a train. A little bit heavy through the corners, like you can feel it. I mean, this is like a 2.2 ton car.
Yeah.
But it's doing extremely well. And I've already broken to the 47s. My goal is a low 47 or into the 46s would be good. So we'll see what happens.
Good stuff. Enjoy. Thanks.
Thanks.
And now, the nice thing about some of the SUVs is that the SUVs get a little bit bigger and taller. So to show you how big this thing is, we don't have to beg down and grovel. What is this machine?
So this is the BMW XM, one of the first in the country, only globally launched a few months ago, and yeah, I get to take all 3 tons of it up the hill.
There's a wonderful smell of brand new leather in it. I see it's got 94 kilos on it, 466 kilometers, so it really is brand new.
Yeah, so 94 kilometers is the electric range I've got on this, because obviously a hybrid. I've got a BMW M5 engine and an electric motor on here to push me along nicely. But yes, it is brand new.
BMW M5 engine and an electric engine. So it still makes the petrol noise, which thankfully, well, I hope it does.
Yeah, it definitely sounds nice. There's a little bit of a grunt to it.
We'll go to the exhaust pipe and rev it. And we're going to go to the exhaust pipe. Give us a few revs. Okay, so this is, and we're not going to hear electric. Because we love sucking, squeezing, banging and blowing. We also want to go straight to Richard Roots. Before we go there, we're going to go to the background here. And this is the Franco Scribanti car. Quibus, you've moved from the front of the pits to the back of the pits. You've got some work going on. What are you doing?
I'm going to show you now, Colin.
He's going to show us now.
So we
Wow.
broke the front prop shaft as the car shifted into 3rd gear in the bump. So we're just timing the launch down a little bit. New prop shafts in, almost ready to go.
Just hold that one. This is the other side of the prop shaft.
So you'll see you've got a straight line on it. So we draw a straight line on it, and you can see it starts to twist. It's chrome Holly, 4130. So it twists till it reaches the end of twisting, and then it breaks off.
It's like a cook sister.
It's horsepower.
Lots of horsepowers. Okay, Quibus, so you're busy
we'll be
putting a new
ready.
one in,
Yeah.
and you'll get ready for maybe second qualifying session.
I think we might be ready for the next session.
Awesome, well done, good
Thank you,
work,
Uncle
man.
Colin.
Right, so that's what horsepowers does, because you can never have too many horsepowers. Aldo Scribanti was getting his car. They had 1 or 2 small issues on it, but they've done it. And we're going to go down here to Richard Roots. Richard, you sat out the last practice run. Sorry for interrupting, Stevie Clark. You sat out the last practice run, but it looks like you're ready to go in Quali 1.
Yeah, we don't want to waste a practice run, because quali is what counts. So I'm going to try and get one in the bag. In case there is an issue or something, at least we've got a bank time for tomorrow.
Yeah, good man. Let's just talk to Stevie Clark quickly. Steve Clark, you running... In fact, can I be really rude and ask Tony Martin to come? We are. You running Mark McLaughlin in the backdraft with the LS7.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And how's it going?
So far, so good. You know, we it's our first time to bring the car here. Mike's first time up the hill. So, you know, our goal for today was just to keep the progression going. Start slow and just keep it neat and tidy. And, you know, we're running on rubber that we ran in the last endurance race. So we just, yeah, I think hopefully by the end of the day, Mike will have a hang of the track and we'll, you know, we can stick the new rubber on and go a bit faster.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Steve Clark. So the good news is the safety cars are back. The microphones are on in the studio. And so we're going to have some action on the track, starting with Supra Power. Take it to the box.
All right, there's Colin Hasty doing his thing, and yeah, we've got that magic BMW M2 going up the hill. Patrick Gearing driving that car. BMW celebrating 50 years. Also hearing about all of the electric vehicle power as well. Franco going under that bridge, pretty hairy moment.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, it's, you can't see the apex of the corner, so it makes it very, very, very scary.
I tell you, that really is a good handling car. The BMW M2 out on track. We have a whole host of BMWs that are going to be coming up, and everyone going to be doing a run. Franco, just explain to me, we saw Quibus, Franco Scribante's chief mechanic there with the bent prop shaft. I mean, is that how sensitive these elements are?
No, they've been changing prop shafts for quite a long time, and they're creating so much horsepower that they can't find a material that will actually not break. But but if they don't break or don't twist the prop shaft, something else will break. So that's the weakest part of the whole
horsepower.
the drivetrain, because if otherwise they'll keep on breaking gearboxes, and I mean, to replace a prop shaft is cheaper than replacing gears in a gearbox.
I hear that. Now we do have Rodrigo de Oliveira from HillClimb Monsters back online. Rodrigo, we do apologize for the interruption, but it was completely out of our control. We're into qualifying, Rodrigo, and now this is when it starts getting very, very serious.
No worries about the technical issues. Happens to the best of us, and I have dealt with many until now, and glad that we are back and now onto some serious stuff.
Yeah, it's good to see you there again. In the last runs, just to let you know, when we lost our pictures, Peter Solberg did go up the hill and also did a 40.349. So he's on that mark of the 39s and 40s. I think he's even going to go a little bit quicker.
Like, I'm sure he will. The track seems quicker now, all of it warmer, and other than Peter, there are many others, and amongst the quick cars is very eager to get back on track.
Yeah, and we're watching one of the BMWs. I think that's the original M5, one of my favorite cars in the whole world. I just love this car. So going up, as you can see, this is the very bumpy part of the track. You don't notice it too much on that BMW, riding a much softer kind of suspension. Be interesting, Franco, to watch Peter Zili if he goes out again, because his car down that stretch of the climb was incredibly bouncy.
Yeah, they're pulling so much downforce on that car, and I mean, from a 50mm ride height, it'll go right down to scrape the floor, and they actually can't raise the car a little bit more. So what they're saying is just, we're going to leave it as it is and scrape the bottom of the floor of the diffuser off, and whatever it is, it is.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. We've got, I don't know, there we go, one of the Porsches coming out as a GT3, Sean McKay, going back to the year of 2000. What a classic, 3.66 litre, 6-cylinder, 360 kilowatts of power. The big gun's going to start coming out after this. We do have 73 cars in this year's King of the Hill, and of course it'll all come down to class tomorrow after all of the qualifying. Franco, your mindset now going into qualifying one, this is a bit different. You do have 5 sessions. What are you thinking on your first Q1 run?
Myself, exactly what Richard just said, and I think we think the same, is to put in the flyer at the start, because you never know what will happen. Just now somebody blows an engine, puts oil all over the track, and then you've just lost out of the best. So myself, I would do the very first run. You've had enough practice now, so you should know where you're standing and what the car would do, and put the power down, give yourself a good time, and then you can relax a little bit.
Can a racing driver ever relax? 163 kilometers. The fastest we've seen through that speed trap is around about 217, I think.
221.
221.
Yeah,
221 we saw a little bit earlier. These are these Cobras. Sometimes too much power is not a good thing, especially in a car that rolls as much as this.
100%. Like I said, that if they just take a little bit of power away, they'll probably go faster. I mean, it just, as you touch the accelerator, the car's going sideways, so you're not going anywhere.
All right, trying to hear outside our commentary as to what's going off. I have a feeling it's Jimmy Giannacaro. I was right.
Yep.
So this on your screen, if you're watching for the first time, it looks like a BMW Z4. And the shape of the car is a BMW Z4, but it has a Hendrix NASCAR engine in there, which is about
800 horsepower.
About 400 horsepower too much for this car.
100%.
You can see choosing a completely different line going through there, so it doesn't want to go over the bumps.
Yeah, and I, you know, you don't go over the bumps, but you're taking such a tight corner that you're actually slowing the whole car right down. So I'd rather go over the bumps, get used to them, and just go around the corner, take a wider line, and it'll be faster.
With the greatest respect, Jimmy is a little bit overaged.
Yeah, but
he's a mature man.
Yeah, but he's enjoying his car.
He's loving it.
That's what it counts at the end of the day.
It is a brutal sounding car as well. 55.4 for
There's
Jimmy.
no way to enjoy high-powered machinery.
Yeah, Rodrigo, that is some serious oomph in that thing. All right, one of the Scoobies coming up. I think this is Anton Crenier, the WRX STI.
No, not Cronier.
No, that's not Cronier.
Maybe Tanya Watts.
No, that's a hatchback. Scooby.
Mark Kirk. Sorry, my apologies. There we go. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah,
there we go. Car number 51. Scooby is always good value. Also very popular in Europe, Rodrigo.
Very, very, very popular. Mostly on UK, but even on other HillClimb championships all over Europe, they're very popular and very competitive, both in legacy and in present form.
These are cars that just never seem to break down, Franco. They're incredibly reliable.
They just keep on going and going and going. And this is Cronier.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Cronier has been posting some incredible times today. You can hear it. Most important thing in HillClimb racing is, of course, your launch, getting off the line. They want to get these now really, really perfect. And I agree with you, Franco. You've got to set that time right from the outset. Takes the pressure off for the next qualies.
100%. And I mean, your second and third one will be faster because you're more relaxed and you're not under pressure. And you do go faster, I guarantee you.
Will these guys be holding off a set of tyres until maybe tomorrow?
Myself, I would do that. I'll put the best tyres I have there. Well, second best tyres I would have there, but have a good set or brand new set for the last two runs or the last run of the day, of the qualifying. So it puts you into that qualifying. If you haven't done that, then you haven't done it.
That's a wonderful time from Anton Crenier, 44.1. This is a brand new car, hasn't even been launched in South Africa, and Natim Msimanga is just such a talented driver. It's the GR Corolla. It's only 1600. It's a 3-cylinder turbo, and it pushes out 186 horsepower.
It's crazy how technology is running.
Remarkable.
I mean a 1300 3-cylinder in our days wouldn't even go up that hill.
And I tell you, this young guy is such a fabulous driver. I don't know if he was just flashing the lights for some promotion,
Well, maybe. Or maybe he's going so slow and he thinks he can go faster and he's flashing.
Flashing along. I tell you, it's looking very, very impressive, very smooth from knysna. Let's see what kind of time. He's basically up against the Honda Civic Type R, the new version.
Yeah, against Gian Dubert and them.
Yeah. So 50.266 for knysna.
Volkswagen again.
Jonathan Mokhotsi, also fabulous racing driver.
And you can see exactly where the guys know how to drive, and they've been racing in other series. The lines that they're taking through the corners and coming up the hill, brilliant. You know?
Yeah. The focus is so important. It's not a long run. It's just under 2 kilometers in length, and any little mistake, Franco, it's going to cost you, tenths of a second or even seconds.
And when the competition is so tough, I mean, like you say, 1/10 can put you down 1 or 2 places, and then you're out of it.
Yeah, Jonathan Mokhotsi going across the line. Here we go. Henning Solberg, the brother of Petter Solberg. Let's see how he goes against some of our young guns. That seemed to be like a very limp mode.
Yeah.
Car number 47's time has been deleted. That is Lee Thompson in that Volkswagen Polo 6R. This is what we've all been waiting for. Well, there's a lot we've been waiting for, but here we go. Tell us about this car as we watch it off the line. Well, let's oops, he's driven over the stop barrier. We'll get Rodrigo to give us a little bit of comment, but I think let's just enjoy the magnificence of Petter Solberg. Yeah, okay, we're waiting for him to get off the line. We can hear him outside. Here we go. Let's enjoy this. Listen to this car.
Yeah, that's a pull off and off.
All right.
Brilliant. From apex to apex. And I just can't believe that he rides those bumps and the car doesn't look like it's even going over the bumps compared to all the other cars.
Quite incredible. Oh, lovely little slide there. This is a 2018 WRX car. He hasn't driven it since then, and this is actually only his 4th run up the SIMOLA HillClimb. Whoa! That's a proper 4-wheel drift from Petter Solberg. Comes across the line. This is going to be super fast. 40.6. Okay, not his fastest of the day, but mighty impressive. Rodrigo, he is here to entertain.
600 horsepower from a 2-liter inline 4 turbo, the permanent 4-wheel drive, active discs all around, which make a huge difference. And this is pretty much the most competitive rallycross car ever. When at the peak of the World Rallycross Championship, this car was dominating everything under the hands of Petter Solberg and Johan Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen won a bunch of won 2 World Championships at the wheel of that thing, and less than 2 seconds from 0 to 60. And the limitations, it's pretty much just the rule book and the setup on that car, because it's using the rallycross setup. But other than that, it's as efficient as a race car can be.
Yeah, 46.776
from Graham Nathan. Yeah,
that was Nati. Oh no, that was
Graham Nathan.
Was it Graham Nathan? Yeah. And he was proper sideways, very, very sideways. One of the Mercedes going over. Look at that, hard on the brakes. Phew.
Yeah,
he's clipped one of our policemen. That means this time will be deleted. But seemed to leave the braking very late under the bridge there, Franco, and I think that messed up the lap.
You could actually hear the ABS coming in there with the screeching, and you just left it a little bit too late. That's what I was saying. In that corner, the apex, you cannot see it. So if you leave it a little 10 meters too long, it's you pass the corner. If you leave it too early, you actually clip the curb. So you've got to judge it. And the problem is you cannot see. There's no markers to, like a racetrack. There you could say, oh, the markers, yeah, there's 150 meters or 100 meters. There's nothing. So you got to just find somewhere that you got a marker somewhere along the against the road somewhere.
Here's Joshua Lowe in the Hyundai 130N. This is 320 horsepower from a 2-litre 4-cylinder, proving to be a very, very popular car in South Africa. Rodrigo, when it comes to the Korean and Chinese cars, are Hyundai up there in Europe?
Hyundai, the Koreans are quite strong here in Europe, mainly after joining the WRC. And their heavy investment on the TCR series. In the UK, we can see a lot of Hyundai race cars here in Europe. And the thing is, they are very competitive.
Very competitive. Okay, just to let you know, Mika Salo's time, 46.814, has been deleted. However, you'll be very happy that he's only 3/10 off Clint Weston now in the same machinery, the Mercedes AMG 45S. 170 kilometers going into the bridge. We saw Petter Solberg just get over 200.
Yep.
So that's the kind of difference in speed and
getting off the line.
Kahunas.
Yep.
Kahunas. Quite amazing.
But one curious thing you guys might not have noticed is that Anton Grunier was quite slower than he was this morning.
He was much slower.
He was doing 42.
100%, you're right. Johan de Bruin in the E46 M3 2004 model. Man, this guy just loves driving cars. Very, very accomplished driver, and this car beautifully set up, Franco.
Well, Johan de Bruin has come a long way. I mean, from rallies to running up the hill, and he was asking me a few questions, and I gave him a few pointers, but I don't know if it's going to help, because he's actually a very good driver, and his lines there, he just couldn't handle the sort of horsepower that they've cut down a little bit and tweaked it a bit, and it seems to go a bit better. Huh?
Yeah, I tell you, this looks like a very, very smooth run.
Oh, there we just spoke.
Oh, there we go. Commentator's curse, getting to a little bit of an oversteer moment, but he held on to it. He didn't lift, so that was pretty good. Let's see what his time is across the line. 45.88.
It's in sixth position.
Sixth position. Strong.
Okay.
Military.
Yeah, this is... That is bouncing tremendous amount.
Designed by the same guy that designed the aero package of Peter Zilik.
That's right. There we go. 46.619. The start of the gaggle of GTR or Nissan's going to be coming up this hill. Franco, temperature-wise, you think it's a bit of a difference? Some of the times have improved, but most of them a little bit slower. Could it be the old tyres as well?
It could be the old tyres, but guys getting caught out, I think it was just the tyre pressures. The temperature is getting warmer, and the guys are not going down on their temperature, on their tyre pressure. So it's a balance. But I think this is probably the first run, and probably the second run will be faster. I think. Or they've just taken it easy and trying to do it maybe on the second or third run up the hill a faster lap.
49.3. Yeah, the Scribante brothers, Aldo and Silvio, both getting off the line. Identical looking cars, so I can't tell you which is which, but wow, that was a bit of a twitch. Okay, Aldo Scribante on track. Audi, also very popular brand in Europe, very, very reliable and very, very strong engines, Rodrigo.
Oh yes. As far as all the DS and RS series from Audi, as far as real reliability goes, they are much loved cars. Driving fun, not so much, but reliability for sure.
With you, 43.3. That's a very, very good time from Aldo Scribante. And speaking to him earlier, they're definitely going to try do the launch, probably in their last session this afternoon. Car number 18, getting ready to go out there. Darren Goodmans. Here we go. The R32. 900 horsepower in that R32.
And that was a better launch from him. And Darren's also been a hard competitor. I mean, he used to run with us with the V8 supercars. Very hard competitor. Drives very, very well. 212 k's an hour. Not bad at all.
It's quite amazing to think that here's Richard Rutz going up the hill. Let's see what he can do. He's been sublime throughout the whole of today. Now going into quali. Seems to be everything's decent with the car, and he's been super fast.
It's super fast. I think just holding back on their launch. Look at the speed that he's doing, 237, so they've gone much faster as well.
And he holds on to it.
That's Richard. He can hold on to anything.
It's not going to be the fastest time, but it's definitely one of the most spectacular. Whoa, Rodrigo, did you also just move off your couch a little bit?
Yeah, oh yeah. I really don't like seeing the true monsters.
And he still does a 41.
Taken away.
Yeah, he still did a 41, but his heart would have jumped a couple of notches over there. Yeah, these wonderful backdrafts. Tell us a little bit about them, Franco.
Yeah, well, as you saw, Tony Martins is a shy man. He just wants to run away in the pits there. But they've just turned the power up too much on that LS motor. They should turn it down a little bit, and I promise you it would actually go faster. But give him the benefit of the doubt. It's the first time out. Well, first time he's coming to race at SIMOLA, and yeah, to get one of those cars to go around the circuit.
It looks like his front left is an issue.
Something's wrong there. Something's gone wrong there. You can just take it easy and come back and just check it out. Something's rubbing. You can hear.
Yeah, it looks like the front. Well, yeah, the left. No, it seems to be all right.
Yeah, well,
maybe just as you say,
I wonder
boost.
if it's not that corner that there is some dirt or something like that.
It could be.
It could be a good point, because we saw Reggie go a little bit wide there as well. Here's the second of the back drafts. This is Craig Zank. This got a totally different engine.
Yeah, he's got a Lexus engine in it with a massive turbo into it, and he's getting it to really start running very well.
Yeah.
You can hear it scraping on the floor a little bit, but
that's what the floor's there to be.
100%.
You know, scrape it down. Let's see it over the bumps. Actually, not too bad, but relatively slow.
Yeah.
So maybe not super confident. That's just craziness. It sounds to me like Rui Campos, I think, in his Shelby. I'm sure we'll pick him up shortly. This is not a very fast run from Craig Zank.
I think he's just taking it easy. I think most of the guys, if they make a mistake on the first time, they just ease it off. Why waste the tires?
Wow. Really?
No.
40.7?
No.
That cannot be right.
No.
That's Campos.
Must have been Campos yet. Something's happening here.
Yeah, we got timing screens that are going crazy. Campos has done a 40.7. That's a very impressive time from Rui Campos.
Very much so.
I mean, his best time is a 40.8, so he's actually gone faster
than his best.
Andrew Rackstraw, this is a super talent in the single-seater. It's the Formula VW Reynard chassis, 2-litre 4-cylinder, light as anything. But this kid can drive.
Oh yes. and you can see all the fast guys actually stay to the left of the right of the track, our left.
Yeah, and quite amazing. I mean, because when you're in a single seater, you can go in much tighter, and yet they know that is really, truly the racing line. Oh, that's full commitment.
You can hear he is not coming off that accelerator.
And now you're going to this end line. Okay. Oh, this is just so much fun. It is Megan Velak, and that is a Suzuki speed car. It's just phenomenal. I think it's got a Hayabusa. I don't know. It's a 1 liter 4-cylinder engine in there.
I'm going to have a look at and see what it is.
GSXR 1000 engine.
Yeah, GSXR 1000. I mean, this is just so much fun. And Rodrigo, you say they're very popular.
Massively popular.
They
but
just look
normally
great.
we see them on mixed terrain, both tarmac and bus.
Perhaps one of the most beautiful sounding cars that we have here. Actually, let's just listen to Robert Walk in this pill beam.
I think that's a good time.
I think we've got the wrong time on there, but we'll wait for another. I'm sure there'll be another time that'll come up. Car number 4, Ian Schofield. He's in the Ford Duratec. Waiting for Robert Walk's time to actually come up on the screen. We must apologize, but we have had some electrical gremlins, so not everything is working as
it should work, yeah. But we can try our best. And
there's Robert. There we go. 37.259. So that's looking pretty decent. Here's the man to watch. Andre Bezuidenhout, so far the fastest, king of the hill last year as well. This is just a stunning Gould with the McLaren engine inside of it. 3.8, 8-cylinder as well, and just full commitment. He's taken a slightly different line. He's scared of the bumps.
The bad bumps right in the beginning of the hill. And you must understand that man had an operation, a knee and a hip replacement a few months ago.
Yeah.
And he's back into it as if there's nothing wrong with him.
That's the commitment of... Tell us a little bit about this last corner, because it's off camber as well.
It's off camber, and it just gives it a funny rise over it. And if you just connect it wrong, or you're going too fast, in a sense, the camber drops off, but the car feels light. So with my car, I used to actually vertically try and turn the steering wheel, and if you hadn't in the right direction, you would actually hit the wall. That's
incredible.
Yeah.
It's a much scarier corner than what looks like on television.
Yeah.
Andre Bezuidenhout with another very impressive time at 35.347. There were a few vehicles, I think, that didn't go out in that Q1 run, one of them being Franco Scribante, but hopefully that car will be ready. We've got one of the others, the Lotus. Is it the Lotus with the Ferrari?
The Lotus with the Ferrari did its first run, but the Lotus with the Honda engine did not go.
Did not go.
Also, Peter Zilli did not go either.
Zilli hasn't gone. Charles Hubert didn't go out as well, but Darby Hubert went out.
Yeah, and
the Van Zumerens.
Yes, none of the Van Zumerens.
Yeah, they didn't go.
Yeah, Van Zumeren didn't go out, and that's a little bit disappointing for us, because those are the noise boys.
Yeah. And Devin Robinson as well. I mean, he's also he hasn't gone out. He's broken the side shaft.
Is that what's happened?
Yeah.
Okay, let's cross over to Colin in the pits. Let's see what information you got. What have you got, Cole?
Right, so back in the pits, the cars have just started to come back in after that first qualifying run. And you're right, guys, a couple of them didn't go out. And if we just go and have a brief little look here, there's the Scribante car that they're still busy working on. because they twisted a prop shaft, really like a cook sister, and it snapped. And there's a bump just after the start line. They were running big horsepower. They wound up a very aggressive launch, and as it went over the bump, the wheels sped up a little bit and landed. Full torque went through it, twisted the chrome moly, 40mm chrome moly prop shaft. That thing is destroyed. On Zeele's car, the car's been bouncing up and down a whole lot, so they're busy working on raising it, changing suspension, and trying to get rid of the bouncing and try and find some kind of a balance between the massive downforce they've got from the new floor and the new wing. Without a doubt, of all the cars up and down this pit lane here, Peter Zeele's got the biggest wing. It's the widest, it's the deepest, and I'm talking about the wing profile point of view. It also has the most elements in it. So there's a main wing plane, and we'll go and have a look at that one. We'll go and find it just now. So while we've got to keep moving down the road here, because cars are coming in this way, and they're going to reverse in, and so we get caught in the way. There's a white line here, Aldo Scribanti. Now, Aldo they've done a lot of work on the launch, and he was trying just a different setting on the launch to try and get it out. You will have noticed we've got some timing of the launch, which is very, very interesting, so we'll see what's going on. If you stay here, Ari, and maybe use a bit of zoom, I can go into see the Lotari and Zeele's car over there. But let's go around this way, Ari, if you come with me, and I'll show you what I mean about the elements on the Zeele car. So here on the Noble Butterkraus's car, it's a 2-element wing. So you've got the main element over here, which has got a thickness and a length, so the chord, and then you've got the flap. And the idea is the air goes in here and comes out the back. And for those of you who follow the sciences and Mr. Bernoulli, the longer the path of the air, the faster the speed, therefore the lower the pressure. And if you have a pressure difference between the top and the bottom of the wing, this air pushes that thing down a little bit, gives you more grip. If it was an aeroplane, it would be turned the other way around. So it's not an aeroplane, it's a downforce generating device. The other thing is, in order to have something going that way, and we all know that there's nothing in life that is free. So if you want to have force going that way, you've got to get the energy from somewhere. And that energy comes from a force going that way. So you've got drag and you've got lift, or in this case downforce. So it's the lift to drag ratio that is also very important in measuring the efficiency of a wing. So this here is a 2-plane wing, main plane and a flap. This one here on your Honda Brains BMW is a single plane wing. So typically it's a fatter wing this way. So fat this way and a little bit longer here. So that fatness gives it a longer path for the air to go. We'll have a look at Charles Joubert's wing as well, and we also notice that the wing is mounted a little bit higher because we want to get the air coming in underneath here, because it's not the top part of the wing that makes it work, as we discovered over there, but it's this longer path here that gets the air coming underneath the car, and it turns up this way. And then the link between the wing and the undertray, or the diffuser, is another thing that works. And we're going to talk about that on Peter Zeele's car, which they're busy fitting. So we've got a 2-plane wing, then we showed a 1-plane wing. This here again is a 2-plane wing. So you've got the main plane with a flap, and this gap over here that you can see that I'm looking through now, this little gap, the air goes through there, gets a whole lot of energy, and then comes out the top here, and that energy helps the air stick to the wing and create that differential pressure, so that this bit here can push it down, or the pressure difference makes it even bigger. Now, the biggest and hugest of wings in the history of SIMOLA belongs to this monster here, this MR2. I think it's a brilliant design. Designed by Andrew Brilliant, by the way. So let's go down to the underneath here. Ari, I'm here. And the idea there is to have clean air coming off the back of the car. So that air can go in underneath this massive wing. And if we look at this part here, you will notice the curvature that it's got from there, where this is the leading edge where it hits the wind. But from there, the air goes all the way around here, round this main plane. We come to the top of the main plane and we remove the headset, and this almost looks, and I'm standing on my tippy toes, it's so blooming high, this looks like it's pointing down. On the top it is, but it's almost like a U shape here. So you've got the main plane, big fat curvature on it, the secondary plane, so it gets air in underneath here, which energizes the bottom surface from here, and then the top flap. And that flap also pushes the air up. So massive, huge, ginormous wing. And then, Ari, if we just come around here, we don't want to go. They've asked us not to look underneath the car, so we won't. But what we will do is look at what is clearly obvious. So this flat part over here, this flat, you can call it a tea tray. There's not a whole lot of tea on it, but the idea with that is to keep the air flowing through underneath the wing. And then as this wing, we said that the air speeds up here, so the air comes and it rushes up. And that air coming up here connects with the air coming out of the diffuser. So the air over there sucks the air over here, leading to more speed coming out here, more downforce that way, and believe it or not, less drag. They talk about in Formula One a draggy wing. This is a draggy wing, meaning it's got a bucket load of downforce this way, but in order to get that downforce that comes in this way, it's got a whole lot of force going that way. So it's almost as if the air is holding on the back of the car here like this, and it's pushing down and holding the car from going fast. So he will lose top speed going up the hill, and this thing will get pushed into the ground and bounce and cause trouble, and maybe something breaks and makes it very, very twitchy. So they talk about holding the platform stable. The platform being the big flat area underneath the car, and the gap, if I just use my fingers, my hand, and this was the road, that gap between the road and the underneath of the car should be relatively constant or stable. And the trouble starts when it starts pitching forward or back or going up and down, and it's the distance of the gap and the area of the floor and some other stuff that the aerodynamicists know and wind flow people know. But the bottom line of it is that if you don't keep this stable, you've got something that's unpredictable. Unpredictability in racing cars is not a good thing. So the drivers will talk about the car having a good balance, and good balance and predictability leads to confidence. Confidence leads to earlier on the accelerator pedal, asking for more torques to drive you up the hill, leading to more speed. So you may have lots and lots of horsepower, but if you haven't got the confidence to use it, it's not that clever. Anyway, that's my little... Oh, while we're here, sorry, thought I was nearly finished. So the air comes along, and when the tire rotates, some air sticks to the tire and builds up a boundary layer, and you end up with a high pressure area under the wheel arch here. Now, we don't like high pressure areas at the bottom side of a surface because it creates lift. So you put these exits over here. You put another exit over here so that you can allow the air passage out around the side of the car. And also you put some passage over here so that you can take air out of the high pressure area under the front, in between the cars. There you go. That was Colin's Aerodynamic Lesson 101. So now, thanks for listening to that. I've had fun with it, but it's time to show some of our partners. Time to talk about stuffs at going to buy cars, going to buy Suzukis and things. And on that note, we're going to commercial, but come back a little bit later because more fun happens at SIMOLA. Franco de Maria, first time for you in the commentary box. How are you finding it?
It's brilliant. Very difficult. I take my hat to you guys. I mean, you can talk about a car and a person once or twice, but when the car comes out 3, 4, 5 times, what do you actually really talk? So you got to find things to do, and you got to find things that make sense. Otherwise, I mean, you're actually lying. You're lying to the public, and that's not right, you know. But brilliant. I'm enjoying it.
What I really enjoy are the insights you bring as a current race car driver, as somebody who's really driven this hill, who knows what he's doing. You bring a different edge to it.
Yeah, look, I've done this hill 5 times now, and 4 times, and this would have been my 5th time. So, you know, just to give it the inside of it, you know, the cornering, the traction off the corners and things like that, the apex and that. I mean, the rest of the guys don't know that. I've got the experience in that, and it makes it exciting because I can give them the information and they say, oh, you were right, you know, at the end of the day.
Okay, work with me. Come with me, because I want to ask you a question. Okay, so these are the fast single-seaters. We know we got a fight between youngster Volk with his old-timer pull beam and the new Gould with not-so-youngster. So I've been looking at these tires, and, you know, let's just get rid of some of these things.
But it stones off in, yeah.
When you read a tire, and they say, well, I'm looking at the tire and I'm getting an idea of what the car's doing, and you look at this tire, it looks pretty good to me, and it looks like the tire's working well.
Well, this tire is actually working very well. I mean, whoever set this car up, his casters, his cambers, his Ackerman ankles, and all that is actually very, very good. You can see there's no scrub off and there's no roll up on the tire. So his wheel alignment is, I would say, 99.9%.
Okay, we've got in a McLaren about to go, but I want to ask you the second part of my question. And now I look at these tires and I see this gunk, these, it's not
like
smooth.
A ripple effect. It's like a ripple effect. It looks like the sea, like a dam water where the wind is blowing. This means that, sorry to say, it's not my car, but
in our humble opinion.
Humble opinion. I've done motor racing for 37 years and I do setups and that. To me, this car is understeering. That means that's crabbing the nose. So when he's turning it in, the car's actually sliding, and you don't want that.
But could it be that we have a level of, traditionally you put a little bit of understeer into a car to give the driver a little bit more confidence?
This is a little bit, to me, it's a little bit too much.
If this was your car, what would you do?
I would take it away. I would make it a little bit softer in front and raise up the rear bit and maybe give it a little bit of tie out. So when you turn it in, it'll actually turn and you can control it more better on your feet.
Hey, Professor de Mario, and that was brilliant, Tom. Stuart, Mr. D'Amadio says that whoever set this car up knows his stuff. Stuart, that's a huge compliment. Well done.
I didn't set it up.
Right, he didn't.
Thank you.
Okay, so from Bullshit Corner to turn 1 over there. Enjoy the McLaren going up the hill. Cheers.
And here we are back. It is qualifying 2 this afternoon. SIMOLA HillClimb. Ciro de Siena is sitting next to me. We've got the McLaren going up the hill, the first of the cars. Garth McIntosh. He's been very, very impressive in this 720S. Magnificent car. Ciro, while we watch this, you've just been in a helicopter over knysna. How was it?
Sasha, that was a bucket list for me.
Wonderful.
I think I'm actually going to do it again. I've always had this weird fear of helicopters, but I felt completely safe even when the pilot did this sort of military maneuver which sent my stomach into my throat. But no, it was a fantastic experience, and if you ever get the chance, I would say go for it.
You know, we were a little bit disappointed because we actually were going to hope to cross over to Ciro in the sky, but unfortunately the powers of Eskom denied us that. So I think you should try and do one tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to try again. Yeah.
And then we'll do that again.
We will.
44 919 that was set by Garth McIntosh, and I'm just trying to compare it. Yep, he's gone quicker again. So magic stuff from Garth McIntosh in that McLaren. Eugene Herbert from Master Drive out in the Ford Mustang this afternoon. So, Ciro,
yes.
It's been an exciting day. It looks a little gloomy outside.
Yeah, sun's poking through the clouds here and there. Pretty humid. Sort of approaching Durban-like conditions. That more Durban, less Joburg. So interesting conditions out there. A bit muggy. Visibility is still good though, and it's not wet. And there's no spitting rain or anything. So good to go.
Very good. We're looking at Joshua Callahan. He's gone. Oh, okay, so it wasn't Eugene Herbert. It must be in that car. Anton Pomashane, he has gone up the hill. And now the fantastic little Suzuki Swift Sports. It's a sort of a media challenge. Sudhir Matai is in one of them. These are very, very nifty little cars, and it's quite impressive the times that they make. There we go, moving on to the right-hand side of the track. That's the best line to get it through that under the bridge. Ciro, quite, a little bit hairy there. Ciro, you know the circuit. Last year you were in one of the magnificent BMW electric vehicles, the iX4, is that right?
i4 M50.
i4 M50.
Yeah. That moment there, I had a moment like that in the i4, and you're in turn 3, you're a bit hot, you haven't maybe braked as much as you should have, and the thing is, the exit of that corner tightens on you. It doesn't actually open up. So you see here where the Audi is placed right now, you have to make a little bit of a left-hand turn actually to get around that kink. And when you're mid-corner and you realize you're in too hot, it's a little bit of an underpants changing moment, that. But the driver in that Swift there made it out all right.
Which is the main thing. I don't know if you were still in the air, but Pete Potgieter in the Alfa Romeo at the end of his lap was sideways. We think everything is okay.
Yes.
But there was a bit of a scary moment.
So the exit or the finish line of the SIMOLA HillClimb is actually one of the trickiest parts of the track. The reason being that the track crests. So at that point you're really moving at that point, and you're also pushing for the line. You want your time. So what happens is the car, as it crests, as you go over the line, the car goes a bit light. So all of your weight is not on your tires, and if you've got a little bit of steering angle in there, when you come down, when the weight of the car settles back down and you've got some steering angle in, that's when the back of the car can come out. And we saw that with the Audi RSQ3 crash last year. That was a big one, and that's exactly what happened to that Alfa Romeo. And he had a decent adventure into the weeds, unfortunately.
Okay, well, hopefully it's all okay. Audi TT RS going out. We haven't had quite a few cars that haven't gone out. A lot of the Shelbys.
Yes.
haven't gone out. They might be saving themselves for one more run, or otherwise the run's for tomorrow.
There's a little spin there.
Okay, a little bit of drama.
Yeah, that was pretty well held. An all-wheel drive car, so lots of traction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main thing is everything is okay, and that car, that's Wilhelm Kuhn in the Audi TTRS. Main thing is you'll get up to the hill, it won't be that much of a delay.
Yeah.
As our little drone follows him along the way.
No, his racing suit will probably just need to be dry cleaned this evening, ready for tomorrow. But he walked away from that.
You know, Chiro, we say that as like in jest, but this is a race track.
Yeah.
That is very unforgiving. We don't have runoff areas. We don't have tire barriers. If you go off, you go off.
There are some tire barriers dotted around the track where it's necessary. There's some on your screen now. But the reality is that, yes, you do not have the same level of runoff that you do on a traditional circuit. And you're right, it is an unforgiving circuit. And you know, funnily enough, Sasha, when I look back at my runs up the hill from last year, it feels to me like I've had enough risk. I'm good. I'm good to go. I've done it. I enjoyed it. And here is the Audi TT RS. That's the back of the car coming around. He just went a bit too hot into turn 2. Needed to scrub off a little bit more speed at the kink. And yeah, him and the car live to ride another day.
Yeah, very, very important. One of my favorite cars is the M5.
2 series left.
Oh, that's a 2?
Yeah, the M5 coming up.
I'm just getting too excited.
A little bit later, no worries.
Just getting too excited.
No problem.
This is Martin Wild.
Yeah.
This is the M240.
Yeah, correct. Wonderful car, this lovely straight 6 motor, very well balanced. That's a wonderful road car. Not nearly as fast as say your M2, but a wonderful daily driver, and it'll still be quick up the hill.
Yeah, very, very quick. Smart engines, beautiful cars.
There's the M2.
There's the M2. Patrick Gearing. Oh, that wasn't the greatest launch.
You know, that spoiler has been scientifically proven to excite petrol heads. It's been lab tested. Oh, not getting it too right there on the turn into turn 1.
A little scrappy start to the first part of the lap for Patrick Gearing. And here we go, going over to the bumpy section. That's pretty good speed.
Yeah.
That's very good speed going into the bridge.
185 around there. This new M2 is running the same engine that you'll find in the M3 and the M4. It's about 335 kilowatts if memory serves. And I think they told me this is the manual. I stand to be corrected. But if it is, he's doing impressively well. Running similar times actually to the i4 M50.
Very, very impressive. Yeah, it's very seldom, Chiro, to have a manual car.
Yeah,
you know,
manual sports cars are rare. Toyota just launched a manual Supra, funnily enough. It's on its way to South Africa if it's not here already. These Supras are quick.
Fabulous, fabulous cars.
Born out of a partnership between Toyota and BMW. This is actually a BMW drivetrain, which in their straight 6 from BMW. Toyota, I think, needed a new straight 6, and they went to a company that builds pretty good straight 6s. So that's what you'll find in the Supra, and they are quite tunable as well. So I would say this is it might be stock. It should be stock.
Should be. Well, yes, maybe not. But the great thing about these, as you say, can be well tuned. It's sort of like that. The age of digital games where you just sit and say, okay, let's put more and more components on it and just make it quicker and quicker.
Yeah, I mean, so much is done with a laptop these days. But yeah, bigger turbos, that sort of thing always help. Oh, this is a sight. This is a really beautiful sight. Tony Viana's car.
It's so special. Jeff Goddard driving that, the 325i. Shadow Line, Tony Viana's, and of course Jeff Goddard Sr.'s car, a mate of the late Tony Viana as well. Still such an impressive looking car, besides its performance as well.
I love them. You know, my first car was a hand-me-down from my dad. It was a box-shaped Beamer, an E30. And sadly, my dad... Oh, a little bit sideways there for Thomas in the i4 M50. So sadly, my dad actually wrote off that car. He was fine. But, normally sons write off their dad's cars. So, so I lost my Beamer. I'll buy one back one day. But this i4 M50 is looking good. Thomas is getting faster and faster all the time. Quite a bit of tire squeal there Oh, and he pushed it right to the edge of the grass there.
Let's bring in Rodrigo. Rodrigo, what have you thought so far of some of the electric vehicles coming up the SIMOLA Hill Climb this year?
Curious to watch them, because this is exactly the type of hill climb that would fit an electric drivetrain. I will be curious to see one more transformed, really gunning for the top places, because there is potential for an electric project to be successful here. Time will tell.
We saw the all-time Pikes Peak record fell to an electric car, or is currently held by electric car, the IDR.
The IDR,
Yeah,
right?
so-
And that's not your standard normal electric car. Let's be honest.
No, they literally, that car can basically do Pikes Peak and run out of battery. That is what it was designed
That's what it's for. Listen, watching this at the moment, our Bucky there, Anthony Taylor driving it. I don't think anybody else could handle a Bucky as well as Anthony Taylor. We've got a classic old Porsche making its way up the hill, waiting for times. Currently, JP van der Walt in his Porsche GT2. He is at 44.6 ahead of Garth McIntosh, still right up there, 44.9 in the McLaren.
Garth really pushes that car. I've had the privilege of driving a McLaren 720S. Imagine, so the McLaren 720S weighs less than a Polo GTI, but it has 555 kilowatts. It's one of the most powerful cars right here today, actually, in pit lane. A monster of a road car, that McLaren, and Garth really does push it.
Well, if you want something and you want bling, this is the way to go. A Nissan Patrol. Have you ever seen one look like that? I just love it. I know it is obsessive and obnoxious, but it is just something quite spectacular. And this run, at least, it's going up the hill properly.
That's let me think. I think that kit, because the Patrols, the company is fitting that kit in South Africa. I think it's called the Black Hawk kit, if I'm not mistaken. That's what gives it that incredibly imposing face.
Yes.
And so you can buy a Patrol that doesn't look like that if it's not to your taste. But I mean, it looks pretty spectacular. In that trim.
Yeah, BB Motor Group actually do that. Here is Gianni. Ricky Giannacaro in his Lamborghini going up here. Let's just listen to it, because it does sound spectacular.
And we've cut away from the Lamborghini there to watch this NASCAR-engined Z4 run up the hill.
Probably one of the craziest combinations you will ever find. A Z4 chassis, Z4 body, and a Hendrix NASCAR engine in it. Way too much power, but must be a tremendous amount of fun. And that is the father, Jimmy Giannacaro, going up the hill. You can see this is going to be quite bouncy. He even takes a different kind of line, makes a small little adjustment, and we can hear all of the popping outside our window. So there's some crazy stuff just about to happen.
Rodrigo, if you're with us there, wanted to ask, are engine swaps common in European competitive hill climb cars, something like a NASCAR engine in a BMW Z4?
Even crazier than that. The engine swaps are massively common. And you can see, let's take an example. I have a friend who is finishing right now a KP61 Starlet, a rear-wheel drive classic Starlet with a Queen Hayabusa V8.
Wow. That's just... that's bonkers.
Love that. That's good to hear. Engine swaps really do, they're very, very interesting, because obviously the car was never built for that engine, so you have to make all sorts of adaptations, and it is wonderful to see something like a NASCAR engine Z4.
It is, it's bonkers, but it is magnificent. So, you know, take my hat off to them. We've got a host of Scoobies that are coming up. Here's one of them, just about across our line. Car number 49 is it's Anton Crenier. So let's see what Anton Crenier manages to do time-wise.
Fastest of the session, I believe.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. 44.045. So go for it, Rodrigo.
But still slower than it was this morning.
Okay. Quite a beast, that Subaru. It sounds pretty impressive when it launches.
Very impressive. Lee Thompson, who's, I mean, just a brilliant driver, trainer, but also a fantastic driver in his own right. In this custom-built Polo, which is just built to see how fast they can make a Polo go, and it's in the right kind of hands.
So we are in qualifying now, and we are seeing the drivers push. That the Polo there had little moment coming out of turn 3, and we are really starting to see the guys go for their best time now, because this is when it counts. This is when you get into your class final, or you get into your supercar, your King of the Hill shootout. But you do have 5 qualifying sessions, if I'm not mistaken, over the next 2 days.
Yeah, Anton Grenier fastest at the moment, the 44.0. He has a very interesting car, Chiro. Not even launched in South Africa, and also manual gearbox.
The Corolla GR shares its engine with the GR Yaris, which has become a bit of a superstar for the Toyota brand. 1.6 litre 3-cylinder with 221 kilowatts.
It's just fantastic.
And you can see the hazards coming on there. That's an emergency response. Whoa! Picking up a little bit of dust.
I wonder if Natim Samanga knows that all of a sudden it is going into that mode. I wonder if he's losing any power.
I think it won't necessarily affect performance. I think it's, from what I understand, it's an emergency response to a certain level of braking to let someone behind you know that you are stopping in a hurry, basically.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's explained.
Yeah.
Wonderfully explained. Daniel Rowe, of course, GTC racer in the past, a very, very accomplished racing driver as well, and incredibly tall. Racing driver, and one of the Golf R's, these are 7s, Golf R, yeah, Daniel Rowe. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what he can do. In his class, he's got Henning Solberg.
Ah, well, there we go. Wonder if he ever thought he'd be racing against the Solberg. But Daniel Rowe's a great kid. I actually raced against him last year in my class. He was in the e-Golf, which was, yeah, significantly slower than the car he's in this year. The e-Golf's not very much a race car. It's a commuter car. So these Golf 8Rs are very impressive up the hill.
Okay, our cameraman decided. And here's another fabulous racing driver, Jonathan Mokotsi, also applies his trade in in circuit racing as well. A guy that's doing fantastically well in the GTC series as well. So Jonathan Mokotsi, also in Golf R, and teammate to Daniel Rowe. Seemed to be a little bit of a delay. Just trying to see what happened towards the top. Yeah, this is going to be quite a lot of fun. We've got Jonathan Mokotsi, then behind, I think that's the could be another, no, it's not a Scooby.
I think that, there we go, we're back in action.
Okay.
Just before Solberg comes up to the line, Rodrigo, do you see stock cars being entered by manufacturers or competitors in European hill climbs like we have here?
Depends on the country and depends on the championship. There are some where they are not allowed to race because they lack a roll cage, but on some like Germany and UK they open exceptions, and some manufacturers really use some hill climbs to make some good promotion to their new product.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, fair enough. Just as Golf did last year with that E thing.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Here we go. I just get excited every time this guy gets anywhere near anything. You just have to listen to this thing. Peter Solberg, he has broken the 42nd time so far during the course of today. Let's see if he can do it now.
This afternoon sessions, running top 3 overall.
The launch on this car is fantastic.
Let's listen. That's quick. That is super quick. Peter Solberg making his way up the hill. Watch him into turn 1. The commitment. Look at the hard on the brakes, but braking and accelerating at the same time. This is going for it.
He's so aggressive. It's so good to watch.
It's magic.
Look at the pace up there. Over 200 kilometers an hour into turn 3. 420 kilowatt Polo R WRX car for the first time at the SIMOLA Hill Climb.
It's just fantastic. Look at the commitment going through here. That is, and the confidence you have to have. Look at that four-wheel drift from him. The confidence
That's
you have to
fast.
have. This is very quick.
This is quick.
This is super quick from Peter Solberg.
What have we got?
40.2.
There we go.
Sure. It looked faster than that.
Yeah, that was quick.
That was very quick.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but that car is limited to that 202 that it was reaching. That's its top speed.
Oh, I see. In terms of the gearing, Rodrigo?
Yes.
I
It's
see.
using the rallycross gearing.
Oh, I see. So it's geared really short because obviously in World Rallycross you don't need tall gearing. You don't need high top speeds.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine what it could do with a different kind of gearing ratio.
That's true. I wonder if Volkswagen flew in a spare gearbox for Peter.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really?
Well, if you sit there and think about it, he's doing 202, and you can see the commitment. We've seen in the last session somebody crossing through there 237.
Yeah.
So that's a huge differential.
Yeah, with that sort of power in a lightweight body, you're right. He should be at a bit higher than 202 at the bridge. That's a long straight to build up speed if you have lots of horsepower.
Mike Verrier goes over at a 47.7.
If you're just joining us and you're unfamiliar with the track layout here, it's a 1.9 kilometer run. The elevation change is quite drastic. It's 160 meters from start to finish, and drivers, the lap record at the moment, the average speed over this course. Now remember, you start at 0, and the average speed is over 200 kilometers an hour. That's Andre Bezuidenhout in this special hill climb, the Gould McLaren. Mika Salo, I believe.
This is Mika Salo in the Mercedes A45S. He's had quite a few disqualifications of touching. Very hard on the brakes there. Full on commitment.
I'm not sure that Merc has any brakes left after that.
Yeah, that's going.
He doesn't need them anyway to the top of the hill. He can get some new ones when he gets back down.
Let's see what. Whoa! Big commitment. We had to break there. Yeah, you got that wrong.
Them again.
you got that wrong.
He's just giving it absolutely everything.
Full beans.
No quarter given.
46.3. That'll do. That'll do.
The AMG 45 it's a quick car, but definitely outgunned here by cars, of course, like the WRX car. I mean, it is a road car at the end of the day. And from what I understand, Mika Salo basically all he wanted to do was come race at SIMOLA, and he just needed someone to give him a car, and Mercedes-Benz South Africa stepped in and said, here we go, take one of these up the hill. So we're very happy to have him here.
Oh, yeah, and very, very likable guy. He's been drawing pictures all over Clint Weston's posters. So, yeah, he's a little naughty guy as well, but tremendous amount of fun. Car number 37, time has been deleted. That is Graham Nathan. His time is not on the boards. This seems to be going very pedestrian.
Yeah, that Honda is a bit unwell, unfortunately. Hopefully he can nurse it to the top of the line, and hopefully he doesn't drop any oil, because that will result in quite a long delay.
Yeah.
There we go.
He
No,
seems to be getting
back
paid.
on it.
Maybe Mr. Gear.
Yeah.
These type R's are manual, and yeah, you know, sometimes racing drivers can't concentrate on everything at the same time.
Yeah, he'll just put this one down to experience, get the car to the top of the hill. So Peter Solberg still leading the session with almost 40 dead. Claire Vale now in her highly modified Subaru BRZ. I love that car. Such a pure sports car, that.
And highly modified.
Yeah. Not so pure anymore, but
Yeah.
but it's much faster, so that's what's important. Always great to have Claire Vale competing here at SIMOLA. And we're starting to get to the big monsters now. Here's an incredible Noble M400. What a sight to see.
Beautiful looking car. Really, really like a go-kart. Magic setup on this car. So this should be pretty impressive. You can see bouncing a little bit, but not as bad as some of the others we've seen. We still haven't seen Peter Zealy come out again.
I've been roaming around the pit, so I've been watching the live stream on my phone and trying to keep up with the action as much as possible. Has Peter Zealy, is he having a difficult day?
Well, the whole thing is the car was really bouncy, especially over this section.
Okay.
And now they're trying to find a compromise between taking off some of the downforce, which was
there he is.
Oh, there we go. Now we'll see if they've made any difference. I think he's just saying let the car bottom out and scrape the floor as much as it can, but we don't want to compromise.
Oh, no.
Oi, that's not good.
Oh, dear. Rodrigo, you know this car pretty well. Do you have an idea maybe there of what's happened?
Right now, no, because stopping right out of its launch. Hopefully nothing with the transmission, but
yeah,
fingers crossed. What happened during this morning really has to do with the aero, because the downforce was way too much, and the mismatch with the suspension settings made the car bottom out at the rear way too violently. So on that straight, it was not exactly purposing like a Formula 1 car. It really was just whipping with the back and forth, and it was getting way too dangerous.
I wonder if maybe under a full bore start he might have twisted a prop shaft here. That's possible as well. The Scribantes are struggling with prop shafts at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Peter Zealy, they're going to get that car out of the way. We've just got notification that Mika Salo has been called to the clerk of the course.
Wonder why.
Whoops.
We'll find out soon, I suppose.
It's never a good sign when you get, or your team gets a notification that you have to go and see the COC when it comes to motor racing. So clearly he's in for some small reprimand or a discussion. let's
Best-in-class features. Do you in the new Suzuki Espresso.
Now we got the noise boys.
Oh yeah.
We'll hear the rest of that story in a bit, I'm sure, Rodrigo. We'll just get back to the action
no
now.
Worries.
As the war zone that is the border towing GTR takes off. Gosh, that anti-lag goes through your core when it kicks. What a noise.
Oh, just magic. Let's just listen.
So it does look like a GTR, but it is actually a space frame car with a body.
A crowd favorite. Look how close he gets to that wall going towards turn one.
These cars are wild.
Unbelievable. Wade van Zumeren.
That is a barely controlled explosion happening in the shape of a skyline. I mean, just unbelievable power.
Oh, he seemed to really back off.
Doesn't sound 100% healthy. Maybe just a missed shift. Oh, the Ferrari engined Lotus. What a car.
With a rear wing the size of my house. And it's actually the second time only that we're seeing it going out today.
Quite an interesting story here. The owner wanted his Lotus to be a bit faster, and he got wind of a wrecked Ferrari 488, and he bought the drivetrain from the wreck and transplanted it into his Lotus, and there can't be many of those around the world. A 488 powered Lotus.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Well, I mean, it just sounds like gunshots.
Yeah.
I mean, these Van Zoomerans are mad.
Farouk
Dango. I mean, that it just is mental.
That's if I'm not mistaken, I think Rodrigo, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the anti-lag kicking in, that those explosions you're hearing.
Could be, although could be a two-step too. But on this case, it's more probably than not, it is the ALS.
Yeah, oh man.
Quick car that as well. I think pushing in the region of about 900 horsepower with a sequential box, I do believe. So very heavily worked HillClimb special there, running in the hands of Farouk Dango, South African legend.
Yeah, that's for sure. Johan van der Berg in his GTR.
Rodrigo, the R35, quite possibly one of the most popular HillClimb cars around the world.
Depending here in Europe, not quite.
Oh, really?
But yes, they are too heavy, and the people because of that, the people tend to like more the Evo base for the four-wheel drive stuff.
I see.
Which is curious. But if you go to Pikes Peak, the opposite is true, because
yes.
the larger wheelbase and the amount of horsepower you can take from the VR38 engine really has an advantage over the Evo base.
Yeah, Pikes Peak sees some real R35 monsters. It's those are some beasts, and of course we have them here as well with us.
It's just extraordinary that when this car came out, Chiro, and in its standard version, and yet there's so much more that is just being extracted from it.
I remember the first time I got to drive one, it was the track pack, because I mean this car has basically remained unchanged for 12 years now. And I was on Kyalami and I put my foot down to join the track out of the pit lane exit, and it was the first time I'd ever felt scared by the straight line acceleration of a car. Amazing feeling. They're very quick cars, straight out of the box.
Extraordinary. Here we go. The Scribantes in their Audis. This is Aldo Scribante. And yeah, these guys have really spent a lot of time preparing these cars. Brand new front splitters, aero packs in it as well. Oh, that was very close to the policeman. Oh, the marshal's even getting excited.
Wow. He is cutting it fine. He's really pushing the racing line here. And across the line, always good to see the Scribante Audis. Fantastically modified race cars.
Darren Goodmans.
Gosh, you can just hear everything happening with the turbo there.
Wildly impressive. This car also 900 or just over 900 horsepower. Sort of feathering the throttle just a little bit coming out of the bridge. There's just so much power, you know, if you just get that little braking point. Here we go, the Sheriff.
Doing the full bore launch?
I think so. Let's see what Franco Scribante can do. Managed to bring the time down towards Regardt Roots in some of them. Look at the big bounce, the big bump. But there's full commitment. Speaking of him, here's Regardt Roots. He has been the pick of all of these, but very slow off the line. Not doing the launch. Might try it in the next run, in the final run this afternoon. He has said they're going to try it just in case. If anything does go wrong, they've got overnight to fix it. Let's see. Franco Scribante, 39-0. 39 dead from Franco Scribante.
Yeah, about 1.2 seconds faster than Peter Solberg. I think this is lining up to be a great battle between them. I wonder if right now that Peter is holding a little bit back, and him and his team are holding a little bit back for tomorrow.
Just seeing something coming, dragging off the left front of Richard Rutsch. Goes quicker, 38.4. Wow, what a time.
Phenomenal.
And look how slow he was off the line. So imagine with the launch.
I think...
But I think he hit the policeman.
Oh no, did you spot a policeman?
Oh, he touched the policeman. Looks like it. Okay, Rodrigo, good eyes. Good eyes.
38 is... We're getting very close to the tin top record here.
Yeah.
Set by Scribante last year. Although that time unfortunately won't count now, but if there was a contact with a policeman. But this year is fast. So SIMOLA 2023 is particularly quick.
Very, very fast. Getting to the last of the competitors coming through for qualifying 2. Franco Scribante currently topping the timesheets at a 39.0. And that's the thing. You might have gone faster. We've seen Mika Salo improve all of the time. You touch or you exceed track limits. That's it. Game over for you.
The policemen are a relatively new addition to the SIMOLA HillClimb. I have my theories about them. I think that potentially they slow the competitors down in that you can't. Well, the idea is that you should stay on the track and you shouldn't, cut corners. But at the same time, it's a little bit more difficult to apex properly because you are so scared of touching one of the policemen. So your apex is slightly wide of the edge of the tarmac. And I think that's just got to be slowing things down. Although with the times we're getting, doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, I think it's the same for everyone, and they've got to adapt to those kind of conditions.
That's true.
However, I hear you. You just sit and say, man, if I could have just run over that little bit of gravel, I'll be fine. But because of the gravel as well, I suppose there's a concern that gets a lot of muck onto the road, and then of course it makes it a little bit different.
That's true. You just don't want to have to send marshals up to go sweep stones off the track. So that's definitely slows things down and makes things dangerous as well.
Yeah, just looking at our times, Reggie Rutsch's time definitely has been deleted on your timing screen. It shows that it's still there, but Scribante Franco is top of the timesheets.
I'd like to see how Andrew Rackshaw did there. We're still waiting for his time.
He's been super fast.
Wonderful young man.
Yeah.
He's a really, really great kid. I feel like I can call people kids now, seeing as I'm an UM.
This is Rackshaw. Here we go. Here's Rackshaw.
Sorry, here he
is. We've got Megan Velak up in that magnificent Suzuki. It's just brilliant with the high GSXR engine inside it. Andrew Rackshaw, watch out for this kid. He is just fabulous.
So I had a quick chat with him in the pit lane. He says that the configuration of this old Formula VW is a little bit outdated now. The game has moved on a little bit, but he says he's still quick, and I think he's aiming for a 39, I think, and that would be an incredibly impressive time.
Yeah, there we go. Lining up just outside our window, Robert Walk in the pull beam. And man, it's got to be one of the most, or top 5 best sounding cars, I think, here at SIMOLA. Let's see what Rackshaw does. He does a 40.4, so not far.
He's getting close.
He's getting very, very close.
Rodrigo, single-seaters on the European scene, are they a feature?
Oh, yes, they are very much so. They are the fastest cars on every HillClimb. I just don't feature them on my channel because that's not our main focus. Not only they are, then they are very well developed. And over time, I believe you will see people asking for some of our top best to go there.
Now, is that a track limits from Robert Walk? I'm not sure. I don't think Robert can drive this car any faster. He's just saying, come on, Andre, I'm trying to get close. And every time he gets close to Andre Bezade next time, Andre puts in another one. But man, this guy's committed.
No, Walk really gives it everything. And he's up against a formidable foe in the form of Andre Bezade in that Gould. The Gould is a very, very special car indeed.
A 37.9 for Robert Wolk, and then of course this Gould, yeah, it's just magnificent, and Andre just loves driving this this car as well. Let's see his time. I don't know if that is, that's not Andre, my apologies. That's Ian Schofield.
Volk's time just flashed red there. I wonder if maybe he did touch a policeman.
Or otherwise that going into turn 2, running a little bit wide,
Yeah.
that could have been the reason.
It's still there, so it seems to be standing, and it's on race monitor as well. So it does look like it stands. So that is the fastest time of the session currently, a 37.965.
6 tenths between Richard Rutz and Franco Scribante. There we go. Andre Bezuidenhout has decided he's not going out in this session. And we've only got, can you believe it? I mean, the day has just flown. We've only got one more session for the day. And then tomorrow, well, you know, there's 2 sessions, Chiro. That's it. You got a little warmer, and then you got 2 sessions, and hopefully from that you've made it into your class final.
Yeah, no, the pressure is on the Sunday. There's something quite special about the Sunday. There really is. I enjoy it immensely, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow. If you're just joining us now, we are preparing for the last session of the day. I believe there's going to be it looks like we're going to have a procession of BMWs,
yes,
as some track time entertainment while the competitors reset themselves in their cars.
Yeah, it looks like that. And amazingly, the power has actually just come back on, meaning like the real power.
All the power.
All right, so listen, stay with us. We do have this wonderful parade of BMW. We'll talk a little bit more about it once they start proceeding. But we'll be back right after this.
Move smart with class-leading tech and fuel efficiency in the new-gen Suzuki Celerio.
Well, that was qualifying 2 for today. We've got to wait for some more practice tomorrow, and then 3 more runs of qualifying before we go into the class finals and King of the Hill. Robert Wolk, quickest in this session on a 37.9. I said to Stu, hey, that's quite a quick one. He says, well, not really. Not when you compare it to Bezuidenhout. Here's Bezuidenhout's car, still parked in the pits. And it's quite interesting, while the brake is off, or the wheel is off, interesting to see the relatively light weight of brake, smallish disc and smallish caliper. Well, I say ish, because relative to a proper track car, they are small. But this is a purpose-designed hill climb car, and weight is everything. Also, the mono shock over here, which is, so there's only one shock and one spring, and the push rods come in here, push this little rocker, and move the spring and the damper, anti-roll bar, and another roll shock sitting in there. Nice, interesting little details. When we get to the back here, it's a Nicholson McLaren engine. designed and built specifically for HillClimb. This one is, and you've got to send it back to Land of England so that they can, if it needs any refurbishing. Even though they've got these nice titanium silencers on the car, the car still makes huge amounts of noise. At the back, you've got the traditional wishbone suspension with the push rod through a rocker into spring, damper, and then a third element. Now, we spoke earlier about wings, and what the wing on this car, you've got two wings. So you've got a double stacked wing, again with a single element, a nice little carbon fiber piece here that keeps the two wing parts together. Now, as that wing pushes down on the car, the faster you go, the more weight it gets in. So wouldn't it be a great idea if you had some way of handling the weight so that the car doesn't get pushed into the ground? Well, there is. It's this little third element over here. So that's the car normally rides on these as it goes up and down, and there is the third element. So that's an additional spring that only works in heave, so the up and down part of it. The other springs work more on a roll point of view. Anyway, that's another little bit of physics. Remember, kids, physics and mathematics is super, super important. Couple of other things that we learned in this qualifying session. Reggie Roots went out. You'll notice that his launch was a particularly gentle launch. They're trying to protect the drivetrain and trying to the drivetrain, the clutches, the prop shaft, and all the other bits and pieces that are involved in the drivetrain. We're going to try and, he's come back here, and while he's just doing this, I'm going to pop the door open and talk to him. Reggie, that was a relatively leisurely launch, and then you smacked a policeman. What's going on?
Yeah, shit happens. No, we'll just, all good, the car's great.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Stuff happens, the car's all good, he says. So now this is where it gets seriously busy in the pit lane. Cars coming this way, cars going that way. Give us a rev there. Because power, because V8, because everything else. Franco Scribanti's just come back. Talking to Quibus, getting an idea of what's going on. We'll wait for him to get out of the car and try and have a quick word with him. In the meantime, Aldo Scribanti is Silvio Scribanti's over there. This is Aldo's car. That's Silvio Scribanti. Aldo's on the other side over there. Megan Valak is over there. We're going to go and talk to her about that supercar. Franco, what's up? Was it good?
It was okay. I won't say it was good. It was okay. At least the drivetrain lasted for that launch, and we'll start to work from here now.
Awesome. Thanks for chatting. So good is when he's really, really happy. Let's talk to Megan. Megan, you've now got 1,000 cc's of Suzuki's finest in here. That launch and into the gears going into the turn one was great. How does it feel for you?
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So much fun.
And what are you revving this thing to?
Somewhere here, 13.
Somewhere there, 13.
Yeah, somewhere there, 13.
Are you happy with your time?
I'm happy with my time. Tomorrow, obviously, I want to go faster, but yeah, I'm happy with today's time.
Mission in life, to go faster. They've got a little bit of issues with the starter motor, and so I'm not sure what's going on with. Here's Aldo. Let's just have the Scribantis. What's happening, guys? First of all, Aldo, your launch you were happy with, and the gears with your little device on it. You all good with that?
It was much better, Colin. We got off the line. Obviously, with the electricity coming back on, the tyre warmers were working, and we had the grip off the line. Everything came back to normal. So, yeah, it worked well on the launch. Pushed a little bit harder. Silvio and I were just strategizing about where we can find more. We believe there's a lot more to be found, and it unfortunately sits inside here. So we just need to work it out.
So on the car, they wind up the boost. On the drivers, you put on smaller underpants?
Yeah, you got to grow your balls, and I think that's what Aldo and I are strategizing upon. You know, we
We look at the other cars like the WRX that basically just lifts through this turn 2 and puts it like. So we're still touching the brakes. So at least we know it's in the driving and not in the car itself. We haven't done any setup changing. Aldous is not in the setup, the car's railing, so it's just in the driving. So well done. He did a fantastic time there, 42.3.
What did you do?
No, I'm unfortunately got a mechanical issue now with the engine, so they're busy searching and trying to fault find.
Racing's so tough, and you prepare for so long, and the excitement builds up, and this is the year we're going to do it, and then a gremlin comes along.
But you know what? We're fortunate to have 2 cars in the field, so Aldo's right up there. I mean, and he reckons there's another second to find. Put him in the 41s. Well, bang. You know,
I'm sure Silville will be there shortly. There's an electrical gremlin, which we're battling to find it.
41's quick, eh?
Well, for me, it's very quick. It's foreign territory.
It's quick for anybody, guys.
So,
I love that positive attitude. Keep it going, hey? Thanks a lot. Right, let's go up here. I just want to have a quick word with Isel. Isel, what was for lunch today?
Wow, what was for lunch today? So we had a Susati roll that we did with a baguette. So it was rosemary, rock salt and ground black pepper. And you didn't join us for lunch today, Colin.
As though I was working.
You were working, yes. So cooking is also working.
Yeah, it is. And it's even more important. And what's for breakfast tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow we are doing croissants. It is Sunday, and that we're doing with a beautiful cream cheese, some bacon and some scrambled eggs. So you're welcome to join us.
What time is breakfast?
At 8 o'clock sharp.
Lovely. It's a date. I'm there for breakfast with the Scribantes. I love it. Well, I mean, it's a time that we can meet and all the rest of it. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. Right, I want to go and talk to Rui Campos because he's... Rui Campos? Last time you had an issue with the track limits. How did this run go?
It's perfect, clear, absolutely clear.
What have you done to this car to get that launch? So I thought that launch was perfect.
Well, the Porsche yesterday, you need to launch at 4,500 revs. Yeah. This car is 2,000 because it's got so much horsepower. It just breaks traction.
How many horsepower have you got?
Oh, no, about 500 plus, I'm not sure.
Enough?
Enough, yeah, too much for my age.
But you're a young man. Grandfather Rui, I really want to talk to young Andrew Rackstraw if he's here. He's actually done a runner, but we'll go and talk to Robert Walk, who's down the back of the pits here. Let's see if we can get to him. Robert? You made some changes to the front of the car. Did it feel any better for you?
No, unfortunately not. Seems like we went the wrong direction, so we'll dial it back and see. Try different tacts. So
but at least you've got an answer.
Yeah, I don't know if we got the answer, but we know it doesn't work. So.
Well, an answer what doesn't work.
That we do at the moment.
Good man. Thanks a lot for chatting.
Cheers.
Cheers. Right, so let's go out into the pit lane. If we can move out of here. Oh, without falling all over the people. And we kind of getting to the end of the day. A most magnificent day it's been. If we look at the clouds, they're starting to gather. I'm told that tomorrow is going to be interesting. Excuse me, Advocate, may we approach?
Of course.
You sat this one out?
Yes, I did. I think we had a little plan as to what time we needed to achieve. My tyres is at the end of its useful life at the end of the day, and to have pushed it now any further, there was no real reason for it. So I was a little bit wise. I wanted to go. My heart was to go out and race, but it's better to sit it out, and we'll be on it again tomorrow morning.
Sometimes the plan of what not to do is better than the plan of doing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You know, every time that the cars line up, if you're in it, you want to be there. But sometimes you just need to sit out. It's the first run of the morning, like tomorrow morning. You know, everybody says they need to get onto it, but how many times have we not seen the cars are broken there, people put it a little bit sideways. So there's a place for it, but we need to operate where we are comfortable at.
So you learned a whole lot today. Some things that did work, some things that didn't work. You'll go away and sleep on it, fettle the car, and then start a different program tomorrow, because tomorrow is a new day with a top 10 shootout at the end.
Yeah. I think everything is forgotten when you get to tomorrow morning. As long as you're comfortable, the car is safe, you feel that every corner you've got a little bit, the memory is in your mind. The tires are working, the brakes are working, and we now at that point. I think we understand what the car is doing. We sorted out the bump, the very bad bump in the right-hand turn. We built some skid blocks underneath with proper stuff. So it feels a little bit better this year. So I'm hopeful we can go there and we can make a proper show of it.
Last year you did a 34.1 average speed from a standing start, just over 200 kilometers an hour. There is a 33 in you, isn't there?
Only the day will tell, because you never know how you're going to feel tomorrow morning. Last night, suddenly, I started coughing. I'm not ill at all, but I don't know why the hell it happened. So it depends on the day, it depends on the people, it depends on the team, and it depends on everything. And that's why motorsport is so complicated. Is it in my hands? Absolutely not. Is it in the hands of a Lewis Hamilton or Verstappen or a Robbie Volk? No, the whole team have to pull it off. That one moment we get it right. That's the beauty of the sport.
In the words of the great Marshall Mathers, you've got one shot.
You've got a shot. And that shot must happen in that last 10 shootout.
Andre, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
sir.
Have a good evening. There you have it. You do what you do with what you've got. What we've got is the end of qualifying today. What we've got is what looks like a beautiful evening that is developing. What we've got is what we really hope the side, Ari. I was following him and he was following me. Ari, what we know is that the weather looks iffy tomorrow. It may get wet, it may not get wet. This is the coast. All I know is that tomorrow is another day of the Coronation celebration at SIMOLA 2023. Join us from early o'clock for a day full of action, excitement that culminates in crowning three kings. King of the Hill in the single-seaters, King of the Hill in the modified cars, and King of the Hill in the standard road cars. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
All right, well, I tell you, the action is still plenty. We do have one more qualifying session to go. This is the BMW Parade, very big celebration this year, 50 years in South Africa. Chiro, and great to see BMW really embracing SIMOLA yesterday and today.
It's a mega year for the brand. It's a mega brand in South Africa as well, as we watch this X6M competition, I think, go up the hill. Doing a bit of a passenger ride there, a bit of an exhibition ride. Lucky passenger going up, because you actually can't go up as a passenger, as one of the rules in the SIMOLA HillClimb in a race car. So that's a very, very hot seat there, very prized seat. But yeah, the BMW brand, I mean, I think what's quite interesting as well is that the M brand and South Africa are sort of quite synonymous with each other as well, and they sort of grew up together as well. So I think last year was 50 years of M, and this year is, if I'm not mistaken, 50 years of BMW in South Africa. So those two sort of really grew up together.
It's quite wonderful. There's a parade of BMWs going up the hill at the moment. Just to let you know, Nadine Singh is driving the 530 MLE, and that was basically the original and first ever M car.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first BMW road car to ever have the M, an M put on it, basically. So it predates, for instance, the M1. Which is BMW's probably their most famous M car. Famously, it was a partnership with Lamborghini, which didn't actually work out well. BMW finished the car themselves, and it's become one of the most iconic cars of all time. And those trade for north of 10 million rand, I think, for an M1 these days.
Well, without a doubt. And that car was actually used yesterday in the classic car race as well. So was the other. Richard Fremantle is going up in the 333i. And I haven't seen a 333i, I must say, for decades. So it was just so spectacular to see that car in the flesh again and actually going up the hill.
333i is something that South Africa can be really proud of. The E30 M3 was never built in left-hand drive, and so we made a couple of specials ourselves. The 325IS, of course, is very well known. However, the 333 is actually rarer. There were only 210 of them made, and that's it. And also just appreciating like rocket ships in value as well at the moment. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time a 333 has ever been up the SIMOLA Hill, so it's quite a moment as well.
Yeah, very, very special. Speaking of that 325IS, Mo Dangor, the nephew of Farouk, was actually taking that car up the hill this afternoon as well. And then Peter McPherson in the 635 CSI, which is also an iconic, well, all of them are, but I mean a very, very iconic and very, very special BMW.
Yeah, the good old Sharknose 6 Series. I
loved it.
I think the 6 Series sort of redefined what a GT coupe could be. And the 635 CSI was obviously the one to have. I mean, that was the daddy of the range. The manual as well was the one to have. We're quite lucky, actually. One of my colleagues has one, and it's parked in our office next to our desk.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So we have a 635 lying around the office, which is a really nice sight to see in the morning as well. Yeah, beautiful cars. I think there's enormous love for this brand in South Africa. There really is, and their heritage it's so nice to see their heritage on display. I mean, basically, we are seeing a rolling museum.
Well, I tell you, Rodrigo is still with us, live from Portugal. We've got the 720S McLaren. It's going to be the final run for the afternoon. It seems as though a lot of the teams and drivers are very, very comfortable with perhaps their setup, and some of them going to be opting not to go out for this final session.
It seems so. Oh, sorry, Rodrigo.
No problem. I was going to say that yes, I concur. Most of the work seems to be done to some of them. Some others had some issues and will play it safe. Some others had some bigger issues and have stuff to repair, which is unfortunate. But hopefully we can see everyone tomorrow and everyone on tip-top shape, ready to tackle the hill in maximum attack mode.
Looking at our last times that we had Robert Wolk topping the timesheets, we didn't have Andre Bezuidenhout going out there. Richard Rutz getting one again over Franco Scribante, but Franco getting a little bit closer to Richard. All right, don't know if Rodrigo's there, but looking at the cars that are going up. Oh, you are there.
I am. I was distracted watching, and I thought the question was not for me.
No worries. It's been really interesting, of course, having a remote commentator as well. That's been fun for us here and as well. It's been great having you, Rodrigo, and so wonderful to hear your perspective on this South African hill climb. So thank you very, very much for your time.
Much appreciated. And in the end, I'm a mere spectator and one that is overly excited about this hill climb. So, in the end, it was bound to happen for me to get distracted just watching.
You know, that's the beauty about this. We're all just big fans as well, you know, and that's what it's about. It's great to see. Well, the Suzukis, I mean, if you've got a chance to drive up in any kind of car that is not your own, you're going to take it. That's for sure, Chiro. I mean, if they said, no, we think the car's good enough and you can go tomorrow, you'd be going, no, I'll go for my run.
It's a real honor to be given a race seat at SIMOLA. I mean, to fund a seat it's not massively out of reach, but to fund a race car that can compete is very challenging. And so the manufacturers like Suzuki opening it up. 2 members of the media, 2 specialists, 2 members of the public, 2 former racing drivers, I think is a really special part and what makes part of what makes SIMOLA special as well.
Yeah, there we go. We've got a couple. There's the Audi TT RS that is going up right now. So none of the Shelby's going again. Maybe they need fuel.
Yeah, a Mustang V8 is quite a thirsty thing, although I'm sure the Ranger Raptor could give it a run for its money, actually, in that department.
Well, I assume that you drove from Cape Town here.
I did. Well, the Cars.co's crew did. They drove the Raptor.
Okay.
And we did see the best average that we've ever seen in a Raptor, actually, on the open road. So it does get better on the highway. It gets significantly better on the highway, actually.
Here's a car to watch out for tomorrow. JP van der Walt. He's won this the last couple of years in his class, and he really seems. Speaking to him earlier this morning, he said there were one or two little niggles that they had, but they clearly have ironed them out. And the car is going superbly. So watch out for JP van der Walt tomorrow in his class.
I think he had to actually fly in some parts, one of those emergency rescues of your weekend. So Willem Kuhn in the TTRS, we saw him in the last run have a little spin in turn 1. He seems to have shaken off that moment though, and he had a successful run to the top of the hill. And he posted a 53.979 in the TTRS. The new M2 lining up now.
Yeah, just following. That's the M240 on the bottom of your screen. So, yeah, quite comparable cars in some kind of a way.
Yeah, I think it's fair to compare a stock TTRS and an M2. Look, obviously the M2 is different in that it's rear-wheel drive, so it won't have the traction off the line that the TTRS will have. However, I've been lucky to drive the M2, and beast of a car, really is. It's for me quite possibly the best modern M car right now. I would say is that M2.
Wesley Kraber in the Suzuki, your time is being deleted, so even the little Suzukis are pushing it as hard as they can. Supra on track as well, just a fabulous looking car, and of course shared dynamics with BMW, which is great. These cross-platform sharing between manufacturers becoming more and more common.
Yeah, I think it's a way to bring down R&D costs, obviously, but it's also a way to expand. Whoa, a little bit of oversteer. Well, quite a bit of oversteer actually there on the Supra coming out of turn 3. That's a tricky one there. But yeah, it brings down the R&D costs, expands your range, and the Supra I think has proved to be a very successful car for Toyota from that partnership with BMW.
Yeah, one of the electric BMWs going up as well. And
iX3.
Yeah, it's the iX3 with Bradley Boshoff who is driving that.
The iX3 for me. It's really interesting to see it go up the hill, obviously, and we're glad to have it here. But for me, that car really shines as a day-to-day driver. It's an excellent commuter family car. And not really built for this, of course, and it's very cool to just see it go up the hill. But that, for me, is one of the best electric cars in the market right now.
Wonderful. Jeff Goddard Jr. in that 325i Shadow Line, going up the hill as well. Here's your good mate.
Tom Falconer. I'm such a fan of this guy, actually. He's a wonderful guy. He really is. And a quick little bit of trivia about me and Tom Falconer. We're both motoring journalists. We've both driven an i4 M50 at SIMOLA. And I think Falconer had a little moment there.
He had a big moment.
Yeah.
That was, sorry, you were carrying on. He's okay.
He's okay.
Finished the story.
No, I was just saying, and we've both opened and closed pizza restaurants. So
all right, this is the last. This is the XM that is at the bottom of your screen.
Ashley Oldfield.
Very impressive looking car.
3.4 million rand worth of hybrid SUV going up the hill right now. Yeah. That's an expensive piece of kit, that.
Anthony Taylor not letting anything get away from him. That was massive commitment in that Ford Raptor. Wow.
I think Ashley might have been on the very edge of what that XM was capable of right there. I saw those brake lights flashing in the middle of the S's, and that looked like a little bit of a moment for Ash. He would have been totally in control, but he's trying to find the limits of that XM, definitely.
Well, I think he did a 47. What was his time there? 47.
Ash Elfield 47.192. I think that's his fastest time of the day, actually. So
by far, he did a 48.6 in the last.
Yeah, no, that's quick in that XM. That XM has the incredible ability to drive in fully electric mode, or fully petrol mode, or hybrid mode. It's got the engine from an M5 twin turbo V8 and electric assist as well. So 480 kilowatts, 800 newton meters, but it is heavy. And Ash, I think, is making good work of it up the hill.
That's quite incredible. If you're a Jean-Pierre van der Bolt fan, his time has been deleted, unfortunately. So Garth McIntosh still topping the timesheets in the McLaren. That brute Nissan Patrol up the hill. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Tom Falconer posted a 50, and I mean, he's been in the 47s, so he definitely had a little moment there in turn 3, unfortunately, but he looks to have come out of it unscathed.
That's more important. I was just seeing at the bottom of the screen, is that Cobra smoking a little bit? No, it seems to be okay.
Yeah, there's always the risk that a car could put down some oil, and it's a bit of a nightmare for the race organizers. They've got to get up there, they've got to get some concrete dust onto it and to dry it all up. And to be honest with you, when you're following, last year I had to follow a car that had dropped some oil, and it's not a nice feeling. It's really not to know that there's oil out on the track. Of course, the marshals do a great job of cleaning it up, but you still have it in the back of your mind.
Oh, he's going very slowly.
Oh,
that Hendricks NASCAR engine for Jimmy not doing too terrific at the moment. There we go. The yellow car is the Lotus. Oh, okay. We're definitely going to be in a yellow flag situation.
Well, he could just reverse it back down, I suppose.
Well, I tell you, if you had to do that, I was in the driver's briefing earlier this morning, you would be in a tremendous amount of trouble if you had to do that. So this could be a while, because I think they're going to have to get a truck out there to tow him right to the end of the lap.
I wonder, Sasha, if maybe we should go back. Rodrigo was chatting to us about Peter Zili's European adventure. While we have a pause in the action, Rodrigo, do you want to pick up there where we left off?
I can. No worries. Like I was saying, in the end, I got Peter and the organizers of Osnabrück HillClimb together, and there was. The logistics weren't easy, but we found ways so it could be made in the safest way possible. And the good thing is, he was able to participate this last season on Osnabrück. He was the third fastest closed car on the event, and most of all, it was super popular among the European crowd. It was a very well attended HillClimb, both in public and the entry list was a strong one. I'm sure Peter saw many HillClimb cars that he never imagined before, because the German HillClimb scene is quite unique. But the concept was proven. The SIMOLA HillClimb cars, when taken from South Africa and shown in Europe, for example, the speed and the popularity certainly is there.
That's wonderful to hear. Rodrigo, do you manage to go to a lot of the events yourself? I
try to, but it's not easy, because between traveling and all that, it becomes very hard to manage the amount of people I have filming for me. For example, this weekend I am working here with you remotely, but I have some of my guys filming on 2 other countries. I have guys filming in Spain right now and in Greece as we speak. And sometimes I am speaking with them right here, because they are asking me for some directions. But to keep the ball rolling and to keep HillClimb Monsters publishing HillClimbs from different countries and the top 10 and the top 15 videos, I have to juggle a lot of balls at the same time, but it is worth it. But to answer your question more directly, I think once a month I can get out of here and visit one hill climb here and there. And there are some cases where I really make it a point to be there in person.
Rodrigo, am I correct in saying that you haven't visited us here at the SIMOLA HillClimb yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
the plan was
we have to make that happen.
The plan was for it to be this year. I had it sort of organized with Peter too, but some health issues and work prevented that.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but we know that your health is going to be superb, and we're definitely going to tick you off for being here in 2024, because I think you will bring such a wonderful value, and you'll be definitely a crowd favorite as well.
Definitely.
Let's hope so.
I think I speak for all of us. I think I speak for all of us when I say that, Rodrigo, we'd love to host you here. We really would. So we hope to see you here soon.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
All right, it seems as though, and this, you have some very, very sharp-minded people out there, Chiro, because, of course, this is Jimmy Giannacaro and their family-owned G&H Transport. And when his car was stuck there, a mate of mine, Mark Friedman, just sent me a message saying G&H Transport on the way. But clearly, the court marshals have decided, you know what, let's roll this back, get it into a safe position off the track, which is great. This is exactly what is happening. And then, of course, the Q3 session can begin. And yeah, I hope they can get... I mean, listen, it's just wonderful to see this car. It is completely bonkers. But let's hope that they do get it repaired and we can see it out on track tomorrow, because it's just magnificent to watch.
No, it is great. And also this Lotus is a very, very special car. Built by Quentin Boylan, who actually recently sold it. Quentin is an incredible custom car manufacturer, builder in South Africa. This has a Mercedes-Benz SLS 6.2-litre AMG engine in it, in a Lotus Exige.
Which basically means it's 3/4 of the car.
They had to lengthen the chassis a little bit to get the engine in there. The engine was shipped over from overseas from a wreck. And this incredible SLS-powered Lotus was born. It's such a magnificent and proudly South African build.
It is a beautiful, beautiful car. And yeah, flying up the hill, here's the other Giannacaro here this weekend in the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. But this is a two-wheel drive. Let's see how Ricky does going up the hill. His fastest time up this hill last year was a 44.3. Joubert has just nailed a 43.1, and I think that is his quickest so far.
Gosh, I think the sound of what must be a straight-piped Lamborghini V10 has got to be one of the best sounds in motoring.
Magnificent.
You would almost certainly not get away with that with European noise and emissions regulations. Oh, and a big flame just to
add to
the
value. There we go. 44.88. That's pretty quick. It's only half a second slower than he's done last year. So the guys are really, really holding up the times. Although conditions, we have to say, were different last year. So who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. It'll be the same for everybody, but we do hope, I think, for clear conditions.
I think right now what we're seeing is that the S's have gone cold, so you can see the entire top section of the track is in shade, and the struggle with hill climbing, especially with the format that we have here, is to get heat into the tires. And by the time you get to the top there, you're hoping for some hot tarmac as well, and that's just not the case right now.
Pierre Bester out on circuit as well in the Mercedes, and we've got one of the Scoobies out there as well.
That Mercedes is highly, highly modified. When you hear it roll up to the line, you just know immediately that is not a stock car, not even close.
And it's his wife's car. That's the thing. Pierre decided, no, he's going to take this and turn it into a race car.
There's quite a trend of doing that, because Peter Zeeley's MR2 was also his wife's car
as well. Lee Thompson at the top of your screen with this VW Polo. And Polo's, of course, very, very popular everywhere in the world. Peter Hubert, Anton Cronier goes top with a 40. Oh, my timing screen is going mad. 43.0. Ricky did a 44.8, and he's just. Oh, I got Peter. Okay, my time. I'm not even looking at my timing screen. I'm going to leave that alone. It's going a little bit bonkers. Rodrigo, it's fast and furious into this final qualifying 3. Everyone wants to get one down, and as Chiro has said, you know, track conditions are significantly different with a lot of shade on the circuit as well.
Yeah, temperatures seem to be going down fast, and well, it is the nature of the sport. The very same happens here in Europe, and the realities of cold tarmac are difficult to ignore. But we have to enjoy this little bit of racing, because it's the rest we have for Saturday, and then prepare for a big Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very big Sunday. Gaggle of golfs coming up, a couple of hours, 7 hours as well. We've had the Polo of Lee Thompson. We've got Jonathan Machotsi, Daniel Rowe in the golf hours. So that'll be a nice little battle between those two. And, of course, also Henning Solberg, one of our international guests in a golf hour as well.
I think the story there was that Peter was speaking to his brother and said, I'm going out to South Africa for this hill climb. And Henning said, well, you're not going without me. So Peter put a phone call in, and Volkswagen South Africa organized the golf hour for Peter's brother. And that's why the two Solbergs are going up the hill. And Ollie Solberg, his son, is in WRC at the moment. So I'm sure he would have been out here as well, but he's competing at the moment. So
that's why he's not here.
Well, here we are talking about the Solbergs, the Norwegian rocket, 2-time WRC champion, WRX champion as well. And here he is for the first time on the SIMOLA hill.
We're just going to enjoy the noise. Here we go.
I've done the good result. What's up, everybody? Jack Mania.
That was pretty spicy. That was pretty spicy.
I think 0 to 100 in ideal conditions for these cars is about 1.8, 1.9 seconds.
Phenomenal.
Makes them some of the fastest accelerating cars in the world. And when I watched his launch this morning, one of the highlights of my SIMOLA memories watching this car launch, it almost looked to me, well, a little bit of a four-wheel drift there on the exit of turn 3, but it almost looked to me like he couldn't get traction. There was so much power being put down through the Polo's drivetrain, and I actually think he's been slightly lowering his launch control as he pushes through the S's now. And let's see if he's gone faster.
Oh, that is huge. Oh, he's still in the 40s.
Yep. I think that is slightly quicker, though.
Slightly quicker than his last his last run. His last run was a 40.2. Now he's at a 40.1. But earlier on today, he did a 39. So he'll definitely be enjoying tomorrow morning's conditions. Later on in the afternoon, it might be a little bit different. However, if he does catch his class final during the sunlight, he could well be in a contender, because I think maybe that car wants a little bit warmer conditions.
And I was about to play weatherman, Sasha. Actually, I just called up the weather there just before you started talking about the conditions. So at the moment, the forecast is for some rain from 7 till 10 a.m. tomorrow.
All right.
Not a lot of rain, between 30 and 20% coverage over the knysna area. So we might see patchy rain up on the hill. But then from 11 o'clock, overcast, well, mostly sunny, overcast conditions, bit of a mix for the rest of the day. So I think we're going to see two sets of conditions on the hill tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Mika Salo, I wonder what the clerk of the course had to say to him. He was called there and summoned to go and see Sparky. So hopefully his reprimand won't affect his lap times. But there's Clint Weston in the other car. Whoa, that's huge. Well, you see, Is that track limits? I'm not sure. We'll have to find out about Mika Salo, but he's really pushing. Clint Weston also pushing exceptionally hard. Salo does a 46.7. All right, let's see what Clint Weston comes up with.
Here's the latest I-30N, another road car going up the hill. And those are great hot hatches, those. They really are.
Beautiful, yeah. And also taken South Africa, you know, alarmingly well.
I think everyone was a bit surprised when Hyundai started pursuing the N direction, the sports direction. But if my opinion means anything, I've had the chance to drive that I-30N, and it's a really great hot hatch. For a first effort from a manufacturer, I think they've done a great job.
Yeah, and then its main competitor as well, the new Honda Civic Type R. Nati Misimanga has been summoned to go and see the clerk of the course. Just to let you know, Clint Weston, Mika Salo, 3/10 again. Between them, Clint Weston still ahead.
I think that's one of those things where I suppose where Mika probably gelling with his car still, first time up the hill. Clint is an old hand here. But also nice that Mika's being given a run for his money as well.
Yeah,
by
sure.
By his local boy.
Yeah, which I suppose is a delight to us.
It is, it really is. Claire Vale now in her turbocharged Subaru BRZ, an experienced campaigner here at the hill, and she's being chased up the hill by a Noble M400. Noble's interestingly built in South Africa, but designed by a British firm, and running a twin-turbo Ford V6. Very quick car, very beautiful car as well.
Rodrigo, a little earlier we were talking about sort of combining hybrid cars, you know, for example, having a BMW Z4 with a Hendrix engine in it. What seems to be a very popular engine that manufacturers or teams or drivers put into cars?
The Ford G63, mostly, or the K20 Honda. It's a tie between both.
Okay.
But what happens a lot here in Europe, it's a full drivetrain swap from the Lancer Evo in either for Fiesta, Suzuki Swift, and some others, and those are crazy cars.
Can imagine.
Wow, that's some proper garage engineering there. Swapping out the drivetrains as well as the engine.
Yeah, I just then say, why don't you just buy that car and fix that one up? No, I want that shape with that engine. Okay, there we go. Whatever makes you feel happy.
So
one of the fastest.
No, go ahead, Rodrigo.
One of those fastest creations, maybe, which is a Mitsubishi Mirage with a full Evo drivetrain, is now for sale. Someone on South Africa could snap it up and enter SIMOLA and fight for a top 10 spot straight away.
Incredible. That BM sounding. Yeah, the Ferrari Lotus.
One of my favorite cars at the SIMOLA HillClimb.
Just magnificent.
Love this car. Ferrari 488 engine in there, twin turbo V8 Ferrari motor. It's the only prancing horse going up the hill, I think.
Yeah, quite amazingly it is. Let's see what Davy Joubert can do.
Quentin Boylan, actually, who built that yellow Lotus, has been responsible for most of the engine swap Lotuses that run up the hill at SIMOLA. They generally come out of one place.
This is one of Rodrigo's favorites, Wade van Zoomeren, in his R34.
Gosh, that's quick.
That's fast.
We don't seem to be getting the radar gun at the moment, but that looked particularly quick up the hill.
That was particularly noisy in our ears. That just happened as well. I think that was Farouk Dango.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Man, this thing is a bullet.
There we go. Spitting fire out the back of that R34 in the hands of Farouk Dango. 42.623 for Van Zimmeren.
Yeah, and Darby Joubert with a 41.3. So very, very impressive. I'm just seeing he did a 41.8 in his last run, so half a second. And you know, half a second is a long time, especially under 2 kilometers.
Yeah, which it makes me feel knowing half a second or a second is a long time up the hill is just shows you how impressive Thomas has been this weekend in that I4 M50. To put it down in the 47s is really impressive.
Yeah, very, very impressive. I think this is Evans in the another one of the GTRs.
Yeah, we're in
George Evans has just pulled away, so that could have been Johan van der Berg. That's who it is. That's Evans, George Evans.
Yeah, we're in GTR season right now, the GTR segment of this program, as we watch various generations of GTR go up the hill,
and some various guises as well.
Yeah,
some of them you would say, what car is that?
The Van Zimmeren cars, I think, though, are Frankenstein GTRs. They didn't start life as road-going GTRs. Let's put it that way.
All right, the Scribante brothers coming up here. We were listening to what Aldo and Silvio had to say. And, you know, I love it when drivers are transparent and sitting and saying, you know what, we know what the car can do. We've actually got to go and do it now. It's definitely not the car, it's the driver.
Yeah, and that's HillClimb for you. It's a wonderful combination of man and machine. Both need to be working properly, woman and machine as well. Oh, massive flame, and we're starting to really see those flames now as it gets dark up on the hill. And as we were saying yesterday, it's you against yourself, and it is interesting for a driver to say, I think there's more in the car. That's always something interesting to hear from a driver, that he thinks there's more in the car. Crowd pleaser.
A massive crowd pleaser. Beautiful color scheme this year as well. It is changed. It's sort of military green. Franco Scribante, as we are watching Dane Riley in his Audi R8.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, I think Franco's car is now genetically as close to a GTR as I am at this point. It's been so highly modified over the years, and enormous amounts of resources, time and energy have gone into this car, making it what it is, and it is just wild. That aero pack is hard to miss.
It's spectacular. 231 Ks going under the bridge, goes into the left-hander, through the right-hander. Now he's got another right-hander coming up.
The Scribante team, I think, is a little bit mum on what their horsepower are, but the figures that get bandied about are between 1,400 and 1,600 horsepower coming out of that car. So, Rodrigo, what do you think? One of the most powerful hill climb cars in the world?
Definitely. For sure. I can, from the top of my head, I can't really think of another one claiming upwards of 1,400. I know a couple. You'd have to go to Pikes Peak, but then it's not a fair comparison because those numbers are overblown because there's way too much boost to compensate for the altitude. Here, not the case.
I see.
Reggie Roots with a launch. Let's see. Yes, he did a launch. Okay. Whoa, squirrel! Look how close he is to that wall. My word. Okay, so track temperature is definitely significant. Franco Scribante has done a 39.5. This is the first time we've seen Reggie Roots with a full-on launch off the line. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, it looked like it nearly got away from him there. I mean, he is an experienced campaigner. He would have been in control there, but that was close to that barrier wall that runs along the media center there. And if you were standing at that wall, I'm sure that was a very exciting moment for you.
Without a doubt, and especially a gear change. Sparks coming off the bottom of the car. Here he comes.
Wow, that looked fast.
Oh my word, that is 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds faster than Franco Scribante. Did you expect that, Rodrigo?
No, I did not.
Wow.
At the beginning of the day, no. Now, a bit more.
My goodness, that was massive.
Rodrigo, Sasha, I'm actually just I'm gonna spend a second here because I have a feeling that Richard Rutz just topped Franco's track record for super saloons. So I'm gonna quickly see if I can.
Yes,
I think he did. Hey, he did.
It was a 38.1.
Yeah, there we go.
That is the fastest modified time in the history of SIMOLA.
And I don't think it'll stand because it's qualifying. It'll need to happen in a class final or and I think we have an unwell Skyline, unfortunately. Yeah, that is definitely off the pace. But I think we just witnessed a little bit of history there with Richard Rutz. It won't be an official time until he does it in class final or in the shootout. But there was just a new unofficial record there for the modified saloons.
That is a massively impressive time. There we go. Rodrigo, I feel sorry for you, and I'm sad that we are seeing this magnificent Van Zumeren car not at full pace.
Well, hopefully tomorrow it will be. I can certainly trade a problem now against a problem during the top 10.
Fair enough. We're on your side in that. Here is Mike McLaughlin in the backdraft with the Chevy LS7 engine, 7-litre V8 in there, 630 horsepower. Just getting confirmation from the top of the hill that the track is clear after the slow Van Zumeren car. Track marshals will be checking to see if it's dropped anything onto the track, and as soon as they get the green light, we'll be racing again.
Yeah, and as Rodrigo says, if your car's going to throw a tantrum, you definitely want it to happen on the Saturday, so that you've got a long night ahead of you trying to sort it out with your team. But I suspect we'll see that car back on the grid tomorrow. It didn't look like a major problem if it managed to get up the hill. That's maybe he just felt something was off and he decided to save the car. So we'll hear from him later, I'm sure, with Colin in the pits.
I'm still astonished at Richard's time. If you consider the track conditions much cooler than what it was, that is hugely impressive from Richard Rutz.
I think he probably. Sorry, go ahead, Rodrigo.
And the launch wasn't exactly successful. It was a full bore launch, but not the cleanest.
Yeah, not in a straight line.
Yeah, not in a straight line. Also a crowd favorite, Rui Campos, who's been, that was also very close to the wall from Rui, but a man so competitive and just loves being in race cars, and a fun guy as well. So Rui flying up the hill.
That car looked like it handled the bumps somewhat better than some of the other competitors that we've seen on that main uphill straight. Maybe they've made a few suspension tweaks there just to get it over those bumps. But he looks like he's on a flyer.
Yeah, very, very quick time for Rui Campos. Craig Zank in the other backdraft. This is the Toyota engine.
Interesting to see Zanka swap cars. He was in a Lotus last year and had an off, I think, on either on the shootout or the class final. So good to see him back here, but perhaps he thought he just needed another challenge, and he's in a Cobra this year.
From what I am aware, the PPR swap Lotus that he has is not fully finished. There's some setup issue.
Okay, I see.
Byron Mitchell out there. The one guy, it's worrying that we haven't seen him, is Devin Robertson. We haven't seen him go out at all today.
Maybe Colin can
I think
investigate
for that. The Lotus 7 replica, Toyota powered in there, the single-seaters and very lightweight cars going out as we come very close to the end of what has been a magnificent Saturday. And I think very eye-opening. Chiro, I think it was when Peter Solberg, #1, first time here, 40.7. That's a very impressive time. But first time out and set down a benchmark, everyone got super excited about it.
Yeah, when that 40 came up, I think a lot of jaws hit the floor. it probably woke up a couple of teams in the pits that was probably a bit more effective than the coffee that they just had, seeing a first timer go up the hill and put a 40 in. So I'm just very curious to know how the WRX team is managing that car, if they're holding a little bit back today and they're going to unleash some more of the power tomorrow, because the car will be restricted for competition in WRX. However, we don't have those restrictions here in South Africa at the SIMOLA HillClimb at least, so they can potentially squeeze some more power out of that engine.
I really do hope they do, or take something away that gives it a little bit more power. It would be fascinating.
The gearbox will be the limitation.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
The gearing.
The gearing would be the issue, yeah. Andrew Rackstraw, let's see what he can do going up this hill. Also fabulous, talented racing driver. And one hopes that, next year, and I agree with him, he needs newer hardware.
Andrew is an extremely talented young man, and also just a young gentleman as well. And I think that he's probably outclassed that car a little bit today, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, he needs something better for him.
Yeah. It was lovely to meet his folks. They're also here supporting him as well, down in the pits.
The lovely young guy goes fifth with a 40.389. This more than likely be the last car of the day. Robert Walk in the Bull Beam, which is got the Nissan Infinity V8. Come on, Robert, let's see what you can do this final run of the day.
I wonder if, given the track conditions, if he might hold back a little bit, but racing drivers aren't actually very good at holding back.
Nope.
Let's see what he can do here. Fantastic looking car. Interesting how extended the rear wing is over the back of the car.
A little bit of a delay. Let's see. Waiting for the marshal with the flag. Oh, it's overheating, boys.
Oh.
Oi.
Oh dear. There's potentially an issue there. These cars don't like to stay still for long. Yeah, someone is rushing to take it.
Yeah, I just said
and
off,
shut it down.
Yeah.
And I think that will be
probably the end
of Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh dear, you never want to see that. That is unfortunate, but these cars do not like to stand still, and it seems he was held on the line there. Maybe he had an issue, or maybe there was an issue further up the track which we didn't see on camera, but
yeah, there clearly was a delay, and you can see his team rushing towards there, trying to get rid of that smoke. Unfortunately seen, and hopefully no damage. I wonder if they'll fire it up and let him have a go, unless they just sit there and say, you know what, done
save
for
the car.
Yeah, save the car.
Yeah.
No. Oh, they're going.
He started it
there
up
we
again.
go.
Okay. Really wants to get up the hill.
Oh, lots of wheel spin there, Rodrigo, but man, an impressive vehicle.
It is one that it's very common for me to see on UK. It's clearly a UK HillClimb based chassis with the frame and all that. So I know a couple of guys racing these things, and I always find them sketchy.
Oh, it just sounds glorious. There we go. Robbie Walk goes up, and a 37.8 for Robert Walk. All right. Listen, while we've got these blank pictures, we've got
Reggie
actually
Roots,
Colin Hasty
that
with
was a good time.
Rafael
I'm happy
Roots.
with that. I was 37.9 would have been even better, but I'm very happy with that.
I can see in your eyes, super happy.
Yeah, no, everything came together. The car's working brilliantly. Small little tweaks, but yeah, there's not much more in it.
You chose a different line, different position on the track, a little bit more sideways, and you really straight lined the straight. Was that the plan?
Yeah, not really. I launched it now, and when it launches, it wheel spins, and then it starts creeping, and I've realized you don't want too much steering angle when it starts creeping like that, so I let it run towards the wall, because I remember I didn't have a mirror on. If it was a mirror, it would have been gone now, so I got close, you know. I puckered my poop all a bit, but it was all good, eh?
Any more left?
Yeah, there's always more. There's always more.
I love that. Two things. He says there's always more, and that smile, that naughty smile, tells you everything, that he's actually just had a magnificent run. You asked some questions. One of them was about Devin Robertson and why he didn't go out. Well, they broke a drive shaft, and the drive shaft spare is in Johannesburg. So if anybody's coming from Johannesburg to George between now and tomorrow morning, please let us know, because Devin needs a drive shaft from there to here. That was the one thing. The other thing is that the advocate has called it a day, and he's stayed out, and well, he's just preparing for tomorrow. So the other one was Farouk's car had a couple of issues, and then we also want to find out the Van Zimmeren car. Farouk, what happened?
No, it went well, beautiful. We got down to 44.9 now. So
I thought there was a bit of an issue. There's some sand and oily stuff.
No, that was overfilled oil that it was pushing through the breather tank, and now it's leveled out, so it's perfect.
Okay, so all good with the car, all good with the driver.
Perfect. We charged up, ready for the action tomorrow.
Good stuff, and always remember, in loving memory of Mohammed Dango.
Yes, absolutely, that's what it is.
Good man. Right, let's just go down here to our blue beast and see what Wade says. Wade, we worried. We are, and the audience, the European audience, is really worried. You went over slowly. What happened?
Yes, in the beginning it was a crank sensor. It's some fault that happened. The car wouldn't start. Then it got to the start line and it went up, and then halfway up the hill it started vibrating. But hopefully we can find the problem. It had a bad vibration and it felt like something broke. So took it easy. So hopefully we find the problem and can sort it out.
So at least you didn't cause a lot of damage with the vibration, and you can come and fight another day.
Yes, we'll try.
Awesome. Thanks, my man. So Wade is he's ready. He's going to come back and have a go for another day. Right, let's go back to the studio.
Oh, man, brilliant. I just love the enthusiasm, the excitement that is in the pit lane. And even when things go a little bit wrong, you can see, got to find a solution, Chiro. Everyone's going to work hard. They're going to find out the little niggles. And there seems to be a tremendous determination for tomorrow.
There really is, and you can see that some have ended the day with a big smile on their face. In the case of Farouk Dango, some have got some work to do overnight, that's for sure. But I think the big story of the afternoon is the new track record set by Richard Rits.
And speaking of which, let's take a replay of this run, and it is unofficial. However, it is the fastest time a modified saloon has gone up the SIMOLA HillClimb. Here is Richard Rits in his Nissan GTR. Well, I don't think we've got the audio on this, but Rodrigo, just take us through this. I mean, Richard Rits came here with a plan, and he seems to be really living up to any kind of expectation.
Well, there isn't much to discuss, but the thing is, Richard really takes this machine. He is really comfortable with this machine, and he was really leaning into the limits of the car, because even with the slower tarmac underneath him, we can see on the replay, he was just bouncing all over the place. We can see the sparks from the titanium plates, and the time speaks for itself.
Yeah, that is a super impressive time, and so much commitment, Chiro, as well, so much belief in what the car can do, and then of course your own ability as well.
I laughed to myself so much when he said if I had a wing mirror it would have been off, and then I'm actually not sure if we can repeat what he said.
Yes.
After that.
Well, I think what is it? I puckered my pupil. So Rodrigo will send you a Portuguese translation of what that means, but that has got to be the quote of the weekend so far.
Yeah, no, I think we should have T-shirts made with that on it, because it just goes to show that these guys are unbelievable drivers. They are professionals, but they still have moments where they get a little bit of a fright. And I think that happened to Richard Rutz when he nearly went in to check the media center there on that last start.
There we go. Rodrigo, it's been a wonderful day, and we just want to thank you, number one, for all of your time and, of course, all of your insights as well and your passion for the SIMOLA HillClimb. Your final thoughts of what you picked up during the course of today?
It was a very positive day, started very, very strong, and curiously along the way the drivers got more tactical about the way they would go on. But in the end, the star of the day has to be Reinhard, because he came here to prove a point. And all the BB Motorsport team, because the car had a lot of issues in the past, but now they really got it on point. But he can't really sleep behind the Saturday's success, because Scribante, the Zoomrans, all the Joubers even, because the Lotus all seem very quick. They're all nipping at their heels, and hopefully even Zili is coming back and showing what that big wing can produce. And it's not like the single seaters aren't being impressive. They sure are, and even the stock cars we have racing and all that BMW is displaying, it's been quite the show. Hopefully the weather also helps tomorrow, and if not, Peter Solberg will be undoubtedly the star of the day. But even then, I want to see a level playing field for everyone, and fight right down to the wire, to the millisecond.
Magic, Rodrigo. Fabulous to have you, and we look forward to sharing the day with you tomorrow. So get some rest and enjoy the evening, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time. Fascinating, thank you. And Chiro, just final thoughts as well. You looked at the weather report, perhaps early morning kind of weather, which could make it really spicy if there's some rain in Q1 and we see Solberg really hustling that WRX car. But thereafterwards, yeah, we wanted the same for everybody.
The weather is going to play an interesting role tomorrow. I wonder if we'll see a fairly subdued qualifying in the morning, as especially the cars where they're running on full slicks and they simply can't run in the wet. They might think to themselves, well, it's not worth swapping the tires out here. It's not worth it just for this qualifying run. Maybe they've decided they've got a good time in the bag, and that's enough for them, and they'll wait for the next two sessions when it dries up a little bit. According to the forecast, possibly a bit wet up until about 10, maybe even 11, but then it should dry out after that, and I think we will see a dry King of the Hill final. But if you're going to be here early in the morning, bring an umbrella, I think.
Good idea. We also just want to thank you for your patience during the course of the day. Unfortunately, we did have some issues which were completely out of our control, but we managed to get back on air because we've just got such a brilliant team. So from Ciro Di Siena, Franco Di Matteo, Colin Hasty, and the whole RaceDay.tv crew, man, we thank you so much for your time, and make sure you join us tomorrow. The finale, the King of the Hill, 3 kings will be crowned tomorrow, right here at SIMOLA 2023. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Ciao, ciao.